daughter be charged with burglary and theft of the cat. It's insane!
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Victoria and Richard Kingsbury are suing their daughter, 18-year-old Melissa Kingsbury, for the return of a cat they claim she stole.
Order. All rise. It's case number 489 on the calendar in the matter of Kingsbury versus Kingsbury.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. and Mrs. Kingsbury, this young lady is your daughter, and you're suing her over the return of a cat that she took from your home. Your daughter says that the cat belongs to her, and she has a counterclaim because she says that you made a gift to her of an automobile for her 18th birthday, and shortly afterwards you had this argument and you took the car back. So that's her counterclaim. We'll see. Let's talk about the circumstances surrounding the cat. What I gather happened in your complaint was when your daughter turned 18, there was an evening back in, I think it was October of last year, that everybody was at your house. It was between the two of you and your daughter?
There was no argument.
Not on her birthday, no.
Subsequent to her birthday?
Afterwards.
Yes.
About a week afterwards.
A week afterwards. There was an argument, and your daughter left the house. She said, I'm moving out. I'm going to live on my own. That's what I thought I read.
On her birthday, everything was fine. She was given a car with stipulations, and both our names, myself and my daughter's, were put on the title. I did that after I fixed up the car. She left, and the thing that became the argument was when she took off with the car, she told us she was going to spend the night at a friend's house. Well, that didn't happen. She called us later and said she was going to spend the night at her brother's house. Then we called the brother and couldn't get a hold of him. He wouldn't return any of our calls. We called her back, couldn't hear anything, and I was worried about her and the car. So we took a chance and drove over around midnight in the neighborhood of her boyfriend and found the car abandoned about a block away from her boyfriend's house.
Well, it wasn't abandoned. It was parked.
Parked, yes.
It was parked. Was parked a block away from the boyfriend's house in case you went looking for the car.
Yes.
Right.
I would agree.
Right. I've had children. Go ahead.
And so I drove it home, and I parked it at home because this violated the verbal agreement that we had after I let her go with the car.
Just for my own information, what was that agreement? What were the conditions of...
We want to instill responsibility. So I told her before she took off that night that we expected her to live at home. We would continue the insurance on the car. She would have to get good grades so we could keep the insurance down because with a 3.0 or higher, you can get lower insurance. And eventually, I was going to release the car to her. But she's the first child that I've ever had that I had my name and her name included on it. I thought that that would instill responsibility.
Well, it doesn't instill responsibility if she's the only one that had a car in joint names and your other children all got a car in their name alone.
No, it was in our name alone.
It was in your name?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So the other cars that were given to your children, you kept in your name until when?
Until they moved out.
And then you transferred?
Yes.
And how old do you think the child should be before they move out?
Each child is different. It depends if they're going to college, working, getting married, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a set date on that.
Okay. But the car was given to her when she turned 18?
Yes.
And it's a jointly owned car?
Yes.
Do you remember those conditions when you were given the car?
He never spoke any verbal agreements other than
No, verbal agreement. I'm asking you about conditions. When he gave you the car, was there an agreement that you would live at home?
No.
Was there an agreement that you would get good grades?
Yes.
Because the insurance was kept down if you got good grades. So that was something about leaving the house when you turned 18?
I was not thinking about leaving the house until they kept calling me on my phone on my birthday. And even after I told them where I was going, they kept calling me. Even though I told them that I was at my boyfriend's house, they kept calling, so I stopped answering my phone because I told them where I was and where I would be going afterwards. And they drove around his neighborhood around 10:30 and took the car. So I didn't have transportation to get to my friend's house, so I had to stay there the night.
Okay, let's deal with the cat. Tell me how you got the cat. Because that's their issue. Their issue was you came back to the house, you had a kerfuffle with your parents in October. Sometime in December, while they were away, you came and picked up the cat. You were not allowed to take the cat on the day that you left. That's what you say. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me when you got the cat and from whom?
On December 25th of 2015, Christmas Day, I had a verbal acknowledgement from my landlord that I could...
No, how did you get the cat? Who gave you the cat?
The neighbor allowed me into the house to get the cat.
When the cat was a kitten, how did you get the cat?
So about a month before my birthday, my 10th birthday, my sister got a cat.
10th birthday?
Yes.
So the cat is now 8 years old. Go ahead.
My sister got a cat, and their landlord did not allow pets, so they were going to get rid of it, and I begged my parents for a cat, and they allowed me to have the cat as an early birthday gift. And
well, don't tell me what your sister thought. So you got the cat from your sister?
Yes.
When you were 10. Between the time you got the cat and the time you left the house, where did the cat sleep?
He would either sleep in my room or downstairs on the couch.
Did the cat ever sleep in your parents' room?
No.
Okay. Now, tell me about the day that you left.
Okay, so on my birthday, I just went out with my siblings to go bowling, and then afterwards I went to my boyfriend's house, and then I was going to go to my sister's house. Oh, my friend's house, sorry. But I wasn't able to go to my friend's house because my parents took the car.
Got it. So you stayed over at your boyfriend's house?
Yes.
Who does he live with?
He lives with his mother.
Where are you living now?
With my boyfriend and his mother. I rent a room in their house.
You going to school?
Yes.
When was the last time you were home?
December 25th.
Is your boyfriend here?
No.
What does he do?
He is also a high school student.
How long have you been together with him?
Over 2 years.
Does he work in addition to going to school?
He occasionally works with his mother.
What kind of work?
His mother's a landscaper, and he works with her occasionally.
Who are these people that are here with you?
This is my sister Emily, my brother Nathaniel, and my sister-in-law Trina, Nathaniel's wife.
How long have you been out of your parents' house?
I moved out when I was 23.
And you?
I was forced out at age 17.
Okay. Does anybody have any information with regard to the cat?
Yes. Growing up, that cat was always referred to my sisters. Us, having a bunch of kids, we'd always try to take it and, have it in our room and whatnot, and got in trouble several times because that was my sister's cat. It made very clear it was my sister's cat. I was there when it was gifted to her.
Tell me how that happened.
Basically, my sister decided that her landlord would see a cute kitten could have it, and then that wasn't the case. So they decided to give it to the family, and since it was my little sister's birthday, gifted it to her.
Tell me exactly how that happened.
That was a long time ago.
So you don't remember? Okay. Sit down. The cat's been with you now since December?
Yes.
Okay. And when you found out that your daughter had come back into the house after she left in October and removed the cat in December, your complaint says you called the police.
Yes.
Why?
She'd been gone for 2 months. We instructed the neighbor to not allow any of our children on the property because of the way she left. And we were just shocked. We were dumbfounded when he called to say that she ran past him, grabbed the cat, ran out of the house and said, "You don't have to worry about taking care of the cat anymore," jumped in the car and took off.
I have police reports from that, and I also have an incident report from the Washington County Police Department on the night that she actually left. And it shows some contradictory to what she's saying.
I'd like to see the police reports.
Of the night she left, and this is the police report on December 25th.
What property did she want to take when she left that you didn't want her to take?
There was nothing that we didn't want her to take. It's noting on there that there was never a mention of the car or the cat. She did take her fish that was a pet, but no mention of the cat at all.
So you didn't deny her taking any property? I'm not talking about the cat.
No.
I'm talking about anything.
No.
Okay. What about the car?
No, I did not allow her to take the car. There was no insurance on it.
Why?
Because I canceled it when I found it at her boyfriend's house at midnight on her birthday. And she lied to me about where she was going to be. She never once mentioned being or spending the night with her boyfriend. It was her brother's, and I couldn't get anybody to call me back. I couldn't get anybody to pick up.
All right, I read the whole report. I must tell you it's a disturbing report.
May I
agree.
Yes.
It's a very disturbing report.
May I add something to that?
Yes.
Her sister, who is here today, gave misleading and false information to the police officer right down the line from her name to her birth date to her address.
Let me explain something to you why I find this particularly distressing. I find it particularly distressing that in a dispute over a cat, which is far more than that, it's a dispute over your authority as parents, is what both of you, that your daughter be charged with burglary and theft of the cat, and even went so far as to almost threaten the police officer who was taking this report that you were a chaplain with the sheriff's department and you wanted his badge number because he explained to you in very very clear terms, in very civil terms, that you had left your home and the cat in the custody of a neighbor while you were out of town. The neighbor was in the house when your daughter came by and rang the bell. She said, I want to get something that's mine from the house. The neighbor invited her in. Your agent, the person who you left in charge, she said, I'm taking my cat. She said, okay. She took the cat. That's according to the neighbor. That's not the story that you told me, but that's the story that the neighbor who was there told the police. So the police clearly explained to both of you that this was a civil matter. The person you left in charge of the house allowed your daughter, who he's known for years, to come in, take the cat, and leave. That is not burglary or trespass. Then the police contacted other children of yours, and the other children said to the police, it's always been Melissa's. It was Melissa's cat. Your reaction to that was to call back the police and instruct the police to call your children and tell them all that if they came to your house again, uninvited, they would be trespassing in your house. That was your response. Now, you sound like really good people. You gave your children cars. You are concerned about them. You were concerned about where your 18-year-old was. You couldn't reach her on the phone. It was late. I mean, well, that all sounds normal. This does not sound normal to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It's her cat. She's got the cat. She's not giving it back.
She never slept with him.
I want you to understand, she's not giving you the cat back. I got what this is all about.
We have a picture of a cat that we gave her.
I don't.
She's getting this cat mixed up with a cat that she was given younger.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Victoria and Richard Kingsbury say their daughter, Melissa Kingsbury, stole their cat. Melissa is countersuing, claiming her parents stole her car.
Now, doesn't sound like, to me, a normal reaction of people who are loving parents to insist that their child, who has no prior criminal, evidently goes to school, got enough grades for you to buy her a car, to insist that she have a criminal record, is insane. Insane. And if you don't see that, it's insane. Now, I have a lot of children, and they've done things, you know, in their childhood that I wouldn't like to see on a billboard or on the front page of a paper. But I would never call the police and say, they said that they were going to be alone and have one friend sleeping over. I come home and I find that there was been a party for 40 people and all the rowboats are at the bottom of the lake. Would I call the police and have my child arrested for allowing people that I didn't know on the property, for vandalizing my property? I wouldn't think of it. I said, all right, give me the car keys. Okay, you know, grounded. Okay, you're not going on spring break vacation. There are a lot of things that you can do. But to call the police and have your child arrested for burglary and theft is not a normal reaction.
When she chose to leave, there had been no communication. And we had no way to get a hold of her because she didn't have a phone anymore. For us to be gone for 2 months' time and for her to think that she'd cross our borders of our home without contacting us when she has no keys, there had been no communication to come in at a vulnerable time, it happened so fast. And
what?
And he also did.
And everybody says it's her cat.
It's not.
Well, just because you, just a second, are you going to show me that you paid the vet bills?
Everything,
I don't care.
We have a picture of a cat that we gave her.
I don't
She's getting this cat mixed up with a cat that she was given younger. And his name was Bendigo. And he was a black cat. And she had him for about a year, and he ran away. Zacchaeus came into our life, as Melissa stated, through an elder daughter that her, you know, the circumstances they couldn't keep him. The family kept saying, Mama, bring him home, bring him home. And I finally gave in. Zacchaeus was cute. But he was all of ours. We all took care of him.
It's her cat. She's got the cat. She's not giving it back.
She didn't.
She
never let him sleep.
She's not giving you the cat back.
She never slept with him.
I want you to understand, she's not giving you the cat back. I got what this is all about. I really have what it's all about.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The car was a gift to her.
It was a gift to me first.
No, the car was a gift to her. The car was titled in both his name and hers. You had nothing to do with it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Victoria and Richard Kingsbury have accused their daughter.
So that's settled. The cat's hers, and she's not giving you any money. The cat's hers, and I'm not going to be a co-perpetrator by getting involved in this family turmoil than to say to you, you made an error in judgment. The moment that you called the police and got the police involved in this situation was a grown-up error in judgment. Now let's get to the car. The car is listed in both of your names. That means the car belongs to both of you. You cannot deprive her of the car. What kind of car is it?
It's a 1998 Chevrolet Lumina.
Look it up, Bird.
It has a reconstructed title on it. She doesn't know anything about the car.
The car was a gift to her.
It was a gift to me first.
No, the car...
No, that's true.
You don't understand. The car was a gift to her. Your husband acknowledged that the car was a gift to her. We had a whole discussion about it before we got to the cat. The car was a gift to her. As a matter of fact, your husband said in all other instances where he gave his children cars, they put it in his name. But as a showing of confidence in her, the car was titled in both his name and hers. You had nothing to do with it. Great. One of you has to own it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up to see what that car is worth, because it's not worth $5,000. You understand that? Great.
We have all the receipts of what we invested into it.
I don't care. Follow me. I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, we're going to look up to see what the car is currently worth, and you're going to sign the title to the car over to your father, and he is going to give you half of the car's current value. Do you understand me? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the car currently worth?
LS?
LS, it's a base model. There's no cruise control, and it's a reconstructed total title.
$850.
I'd like to see the title. Or take a look at the title, figure out where Melissa signs the title over to her father. She's going to get $425, and this case is going to be over.
This is what it looked like before we got it. This is what it looked like after we did all the work.
I don't care. You're going to keep the car. The car's yours. Melissa. Plaintiff's action for the return of the cat is dismissed on the counterclaim for $5,000 for the car. I'm awarding you $425, which is half the value of the car. Now it's no longer yours, and you get all the perks and all the advantages of everything that you've put into the car. All it cost you was half of its value. That's it. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. Painting a picture of carelessness at the car wash.
When you got the painting back, it was damaged.
She's having a hard time to close the trunk because the painting was getting caught.
Next Judge Judy.
We were very upset that we had no contact with our daughter.
They were just upset that I moved out.
And then when we did get contact, it was...
And weren't getting their way with me moving out.
In the form of a theft.
And how I wanted my cat and the car and everything.
I just didn't expect it to...
I have no reason to go back, so it's not a big deal.
...come to this or work out this way or any of these things to happen.
I'm just happy it's all over with everything that's been going on.
We did everything right. And we got hurt in the end.
It's not true.
Run over there and...
Towards me and my siblings and the way she's acted.
We love them.
Yes, I love you, and I'm really sorry that this has all happened.
Just throughout the years, it's no.
I want family restoration.
I plan to just move on and continue with...
That's all I want.
My siblings, and the relationship we have right now is really strong.
It was rolled up like this, snugly tucked in there in the trunk. This is my work. I'm a professional artist.
Painting a picture of carelessness at the car wash.
We said, don't go in the trunk. Do not go in the trunk.
The painting worth $3,600.
But finding the truth is a fine art.
When you got the painting back, it was damaged.
She's having a hard time to close the trunk because the painting was getting caught.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Spencer and Alex Vanderzee are suing car wash owner Simon Burhane for damaged artwork and loss of materials.
Order. All rise. It's case number 527 on the calendar, the matter of Vanderzee versus Burhane.
Mrs. Vanderzee, it is your claim that the defendant, who owns a car wash detail place, is responsible for damage to a piece of artwork that was in the trunk of your car that you had brought in to be detailed.
Correct.
Who brought the car into the garage?
We both brought the car in. I drove it.
On what date?
On October 31st.
What time?
It was in the morning sometime, maybe around 11.
What day of the week was the 31st?
It was a Saturday.
Neither of you were working that day?
Correct.
Okay. When you brought the car in, who was driving?
I was driving.
Did you see Mr. Burhane?
No, I did not.
Actually, I took the key from her. I took the key from her. That was at the register.
That may be true, Your Honor. I don't remember seeing him.
So then you have to say, I don't remember. You took the key from her?
Yes.
Do you remember what time that was, Mr. Burhane?
About 10:30.
Would you describe the establishment that you own?
Well, this car wash been established for about 60 years now. I've been an owner since November 2009. We do mainly full service. We ran close to 40,000 cars through the car wash.
Do you have car washes that do it themselves as well as people to do it?
That's where our main business is. Detail is in addition to what we do, but we do a lot of cars through there, full service, and we take maybe one car a day for detail.
Do you offer different price of servicing?
Yes.
You know, these days you have a menu for full, and then if you want wax, and then if you want hot wax, and then if you want your tires blown, and if you want your undercarriage cleaned. See, I've been... Are you impressed?
Yeah, I am.
Do you remember what kind of service you ordered?
One of his employees had a clipboard out when we were going over exactly what we wanted. I don't know if it had a name, like Mega Detail or anything like that, but he was checking off boxes, you know, this kind of wax, you want the leather done, that sort of thing.
Well, so I'm asking you.
Yes.
What did you tell them that you wanted done?
We wanted everything except the trunk.
Just a second. I know what your claim is. You were having everything done. It wasn't just going through the car wash and then having some people dry it at the end. You wanted inside done and outside.
Correct.
Leather seats. Floor.
The carpet.
Floor,
yeah.
Everything. You wanted a full detail.
Yeah, we call it interior super detail.
How much does that cost?
$90 plus tax.
90 plus tax.
Yes, it takes about 3 to 4 hour service, yes.
Okay, and that's what you paid?
I think I have a receipt for $106,
yeah.
Correct.
Now, this is, I assume, your artwork.
Correct.
When had you put that artwork in the car?
We loaded the piece.
Not we.
I'm sorry, I loaded the piece up.
Just a second. You loaded personally.
Personally.
The piece in the car.
Yes, Your Honor.
On what date?
It was that same date.
You loaded it on Friday.
With the intention of taking it to be framed. We'd set up a meeting with the gentleman who does the framing. We got to his framing business, and he wasn't there when he said he was going to be there.
Saturday morning.
That was Friday,
That was Friday.
Your Honor. He's a small...
Oh, just a second.
Okay.
Who drove there?
We both did.
I was driving
drove?
the car.
So you drove there Friday.
Correct.
Correct.
He wasn't there on Friday.
Correct, Your Honor.
Good. Okay, so the day before, on Friday, you had an appointment with the picture framer, put the picture in the car.
Correct.
Now, was it rolled up in something, or was it the way I see it now?
It was rolled up like this, snugly tucked in there, in the trunk.
But not in a tube?
Not in a tube, but...
Just a second.
Okay.
Do you have a tube? Just curious.
For bringing it on the airplane, I bought one, but...
Okay, so you have one.
Now I do, yes.
And you took it to the framer Friday, and the framer wasn't there.
Correct. It's an independent...
I'm talking to him. I'm not talking to you. The framer wasn't there. What time was your appointment with the framer?
I want to say it was 4 o'clock, give or take a few minutes, and we
Okay, now Friday is a work day. Did you work on Friday?
This is my work. I'm a professional artist.
So you took it to the framer on Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
At 4 o'clock. Not your wife?
She was in the car with me, but I was driving.
Well, just a second. So what do you do?
I'm a lawyer.
On Friday at 4 o'clock, you weren't working?
I wasn't, no. I had to get some dinner afterwards.
Fine. So you went, took care of the framer, who wasn't there, and then the two of you went out for dinner?
Correct, Your Honor.
Good. Now, did you contact the framer the next day?
I did. I stood outside the establishment and said, we're here. We are looking for you. Where are you?
I'm not talking about Friday. I'm talking about Saturday.
Oh, okay.
You got to pay attention. Saturday morning, did you contact the framer?
No.
When you contacted the framer on Friday, how did you reach the framer?
I had to leave a voicemail message.
And he returned your call?
He did not.
No.
Did not? Well, no, how did you reach the framer to set up an appointment for Friday?
That had been done previously.
She had arranged my wife had arranged the meeting with the framer, and she had taken care of it.
By phone?
By phone.
When?
Maybe the day before, maybe 2 days before. It was earlier that week.
Okay, so you have his phone number.
Correct.
And he wasn't there on Friday when he was supposed to be, so you went out for dinner.
Correct.
And left the painting in the car. My next question is, did you call the framer in the morning?
I don't recall that I did.
Well, what? Okay, so you didn't call the framer in the morning, and then at 11 o'clock you went to drop the car off at his place to be wife up in the Jeep because the car was going to be all day at the
detailing, yes. So we could go get some lunch. It was four or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Something like, yes, 3 to 5 hours.
And it didn't dawn on either one of you to take the painting out of the trunk of the car, maybe to find another framer, maybe to call the framer? Or did you forget that it was in the car?
Oh, no, we knew it was there, absolutely.
Well, then, Mrs. Vanderdy, why would you leave what purports to be a painting worth $3,600 in the trunk of a car when you have another car that's not going to be left in the hands of strangers?
Yep.
Your Honor, respectfully, I've moved art so many times I can't even keep count. My work, other people's work. I'm a professional artist that is shown in galleries, museums.
This is not an advertisement.
Okay, but
that's a very simple question. Why would you not, if you're taking a car that's going to be left in the hands of dozens of people who are going to have something to do with the car? For instance, if I were a jewelry maker and I had a necklace worth $3,600, and I transported jewelry all the time, but if I were taking my car to be detailed and my husband was picking me up in his car, I would take the necklace out of the car and put it in, because otherwise I would be stupid to leave a piece of valuable stuff in the trunk of a car that's going to be taken care of by strangers. And you say this is worth thousands of dollars, so I don't understand why you didn't put it in the Jeep.
2 reasons. One, the more often I handle the piece, the more likely it is to be damaged. It was not going anywhere. I had secured it in such a fashion that unless it was tampered with by someone aside from myself, it was going to be absolutely fine. Second...
Evidently not.
Well,
so you made a mistake.
Well,
just a sec. So you made a mistake.
Had they stayed out of the trunk as we requested, it would not have been a mistake.
It was not.
Just a second. Just a second. You're not following me. I mean, you understand that this is going nowhere for you. I'm telling you it's going nowhere because it doesn't sound logical to me. It doesn't sound logical to me that if you said to somebody who was standing there with the clipboard, I want everything else detailed in the car, but I don't want you to go in the trunk, or don't detail the trunk, or don't go in there and clean the trunk. And you think that as a result of that, because they went into the trunk to put what they had found in the car, in your trunk, that they're responsible for $3,600 for your painting?
We do think that.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I do think that.
Well, you're wrong.
May I ask a question?
You may not ask me a question.
Okay.
You may not ask me a question. I just find the whole thing ridiculous. I don't see how 2 intelligent people would leave a piece of art rolled up in anything. He has a whole different story, by the way. You have to understand his whole different story in his answer that he's going to tell me. You don't know what happened to your car. All you know is when you got the painting back, it was damaged. Correct? I'm not talking to your wife, I'm talking to you.
Correct.
When you saw the painting, it was damaged.
Correct.
So you don't know how it happened, right?
Technically, I mean, I know she did not do it, but...
You don't know that at all.
I trust what she says.
Listen, you may, but I'm not married to her.
I get it. She's also helped me move countless pieces of work.
I don't care. You say you trust her, but you weren't there to see what happened to the painting. And according to your wife, neither was she, correct?
Correct.
Good. Now, so neither of you were there.
When it was damaged.
When it was damaged. That's according to you. Not according to him.
Okay, that morning, it was a busy morning. When she arrived, she came in, she gave me the key, and I told her, did you remove all the belongings out of the car? She said, yes, everything is out. So
she spoke to you?
Yes.
Gave you the key?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually, you pull the car to the back. If it's a detailer, you come inside. The guys will tell you what all we're going to do with the pricing. And
you didn't tell her what the pricing was. That was somebody else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Then she came in, she gave me the key, and she was getting the interior super clean. With that package, what comes is with carpet cabin, including washing the car and clean all the door jams, the trunk jam, the whole works on the car. So we did the work. While we're cleaning the car, there was a lot of items in the car we found.
Like what?
The main one was a credit card. There was a lot of personal items, jewelry.
Credit card. Do you remember what kind of credit card it was?
No. Don't remember.
Credit card.
There was one credit card.
What kind of credit card was it?
I'm not sure. One that I had lost, and it must have fallen out of my pocket, and I had canceled
so a lost credit card that she acknowledges was there.
Yes, and there was phone chargers.
4 chargers.
Yes, also there was some...
I think he said phone charger. I'm sorry, not fork.
Phone charger. And also there was some forks. There were maybe about 6 or 7 forks. And there was additional miscellaneous items.
I mean, you're talking about plastic forks
no,
or metal forks?
Silver forks, yes.
Did you say 4 chargers or a phone charger?
Phone charger.
Phone charger.
Yes.
Okay.
And all we did was we put it in a small grocery bag and put it inside the trunk, and we closed it. The car was nicely done. We parked it in the front.
Just a second. My question to you is, because I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked her, did you see that,
yes.
or was that what you were told?
No, I was there.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As she was closing the trunk, she was having a hard time to latch it. Then he showed her what was getting caught. And she said, oh my God, that's my husband's painting.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Spencer and Alex Vanderzee say car wash owner Simon Burhane is responsible for damaged artwork left in the trunk of their car.
So you were there when it was put in the trunk. Who put it in the trunk?
The detailer. Then every time, as the owner and the manager, I inspect, especially on the details. Right when they tell me it's done, I walk over there, look at what they did. If it looks to our standard, if they miss anything.
Did you see... My question to you is, I'm going to ask you one more time. Did you see them put the grocery bag with the charger and the credit card in the trunk?
I seen them put the bag. I did not see exactly what all it was in the bag, but it was a small
bag. You saw the bag?
Yes.
But not what was in it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Then tell me what happened.
So we called her, told her it's ready. She told me that she'll be coming later on in the afternoon, which she got there about 4-ish. Then when they came in, we told her, if you want to inspect the car, then I'll ring you out. She went out, looked at the car.
Where was her husband?
In his car.
He didn't get out?
He never got out. First time or the second time.
Okay.
So she inspected the car. She liked it. She came back. Yeah, it looks great. She got the tips for the guy who did the work. And we told her all the belongings, the additional stuff we found, including the credit card, is in the trunk. She said thank you. She went to her car, and she got in. Then she noticed the charger was not there. So she came back, and she said, where's my charger? We told her it's in the trunk in the back. So she said, oh, okay, fine. So she went to the trunk, got the charger out. As she was closing the trunk, she was having a hard time to latch it. That's when I sent one of my guys, my manager, to go see why she's having a hard time to close the trunk.
What's your manager's name?
George.
Did you go outside with George, or did you stay inside?
No, I had customer. I was the cashier.
So you don't know what happened outside?
I was standing. I can show you the picture where I was standing and where the car was.
Okay.
If I turned strictly, I can see her where she was standing.
Okay.
So he went out to see. I thought she was having a hard time because the trunk latch was something wrong with it or whatever. Then he showed her what was catching the latch, that she couldn't close it because the painting was getting caught. And that's what happened. He showed her. Then she said, oh, my God, that's my husband's painting. That she was upset when she left. Didn't say nothing to me. She called the next day, and we apologized that happened, but that painting should not be in the car.
I agree with you.
And we said, but to just keep you a happy customer, go ahead, bring the Jeep, and we'll
Just a second. And that never happened?
It never happened.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's lying, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know whether he's lying or I don't know whether he's lying.
Why would I keep closing a trunk on a piece of art that I know is his?
Were you asked to take everything out of the car?
No, Your Honor.
No, just
they said
oh, no. I don't believe that.
Oh.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Spencer Vanderzee claims car wash owner Simon Burhane is responsible for damaging his artwork.
Now, did you speak to her personally the next day?
No, George did.
Okay, so you don't know that.
No, he spoke to Spencer, actually. He didn't speak to her.
Okay, so did you speak to someone the next day?
I did.
And
Okay.
I called that. I'm sorry.
Did you speak to someone the next day?
I did.
Okay, and that was someone by the name of George.
And he acknowledged the damage happened on their property.
Well, of course it happened on their property.
But what he's saying is a complete fabrication.
I don't... It might be.
It absolutely is.
It is.
First of all, I was not there. Or I'm right. I mean, I was there when we dropped the cars off. We both stood next to the Cadillac as the gentleman, the associate, was standing there with a clipboard saying, "Do you want me to do this, that?" And we said, "Don't go in the trunk.
Don't do the
Do
trunk.
not go in the trunk." And he wrote something down. I didn't see the clipboard, but he said, "Okay," and wrote something down.
You should subpoena it.
Well,
But you left that thing in the trunk?
no,
Not at all,
no.
Your
I've done
Honor.
this.
No.
I moved pieces without any damage occurring.
I mean, keep
because
moving it
Just a
into
second. Is
another-
what you're telling me, Mr. Vanderzee, that you have left pieces of art in the trunk and taken the car to be detailed before without incident? Just a second. Follow my question.
Sure.
Is what you're telling me that you've taken a painting of yours, put it in the car, taken the car to be detailed, and a painting was never damaged? Is that what you're telling me?
I've never had the car detailed with
Well,
a painting.
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you going to the theater and giving somebody the keys to the car to park the car and somebody going into your trunk.
I understand.
I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about taking a car to be detailed inside and out and leaving the painting in the car.
Your Honor, but if they asked...
For days.
Overnight.
Overnight. It had been 2 days at that point.
He says that that didn't happen.
He's lying, Your Honor.
Well, I
That's
don't know
not-
whether he's
That's
lying
not
or
true.
I don't
She
know
did
whether
not.
he's
Why
lying
would
or
I
not.
keep closing a trunk on a piece of art that I know is his and over and over and over
I
again?
don't care whether he did or he didn't. I don't think somebody purposely destroyed your painting because your husband says that he snugly fit it in the back of the car, which means that somebody had to purposely go in there and rip it out.
It happened when they threw
the bag on
of
it
stuff
and it
on
popped
it.
open.
Just a second.
And
there,
forks.
I also think there was a pair of gym shoes.
A pair of what?
Gym shoes?
Were you asked to take everything out of the car?
No, Your Honor.
No, just
They
a
said
second. Oh, no, no, no. I don't believe that.
Oh.
We do.
I don't believe that, madam.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I think that they probably said to you, if you're going to detail the car inside out, please remove anything from the car.
And then, Your Honor, they also said if we find anything,
He
we'll put it in
asked
a
you,
bag.
just a second, he asked you to remove everything from the car. And you clearly didn't remove the credit card or the gym
Well, that
shoes.
was under the seat.
According
I
to
didn't
you.
see it. And I think the shoes were under the seat,
okay.
too.
I don't think you have a case against him.
But when we say, Your Honor, when we say stay out of the trunk, and they acknowledge it by writing
Show
something
me.
down,
Just a minute, show me.
Well,
they
he would have
kept
gotten rid
You're
of
a
that. He's
lawyer.
standing here
You're
lying
a
to you.
lawyer. You can subpoena their records. They keep a copy.
They
I'm
never
sure he
said
didn't.
stay out of the trunk.
I'm sure
That's an
he
absolute lie.
didn't.
Never said.
I'm sure he didn't bring it, but you know how to get it. He says it was never done.
that's a lie.
It's just not true.
Well, I don't know. You have no case. Next time, if you want something that's valuable to be preserved, don't leave it in a vehicle where dozens of people are going to have access to it.
I thought
Dozens.
Why
Not
ask
one.
him?
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He's not a nice man.
Lingering issues after their divorce.
So you got out fast and easy from this short-term marriage?
7 months.
Enough. I know him for 3 minutes. I don't like him.
Next Judge Judy.
She was lying straight up.
I did not. Absolutely. Why in the world would I
She was trying to cover up her fault
purposely cause damage to my husband's art
because her husband not to be upset.
and then lie about it and say someone else did it? No, of course I didn't do it.
And she is the one who was trying to latch that trunk.
They shut the trunk latch on the piece, and it damaged it.
Anything left in the car or damaged while we are handling the detail, not responsible.
Now I can't sell this piece, so they're taking food out of my mouth.
Unconcerned about their suffering dog?
Scotty said, there he is, he's dying, he has a chicken bone in his throat.
I find that hard to believe that you actually said that. You'd have to be lower than the lowest worm
So this neighbor paid to do what they wouldn't.
to have sit in the puppy's death.
She had the dog for 4 days.
I don't want you to act stupid.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Shelley Vick is suing her neighbor, Katie Morrison, for vet bills after she took Katie's sick puppy to the vet.
Order. All rise. It's case number 555 on the calendar in the matter of Vick versus Morrison.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Vick, you and the defendant are neighbors.
Yes.
And you've been neighbors for how long?
1 year.
How long have you lived in your house?
Since 2001.
So you're new to the neighborhood?
Correct.
And you had a dog?
Yes.
Puppy. What kind of puppy?
It was a Chihuahua.
A Chihuahua?
Yeah, and it was approximately 8 weeks old.
When you say was, do you still have the dog?
Correct.
You still have the dog?
Yes.
So it is a Chihuahua. You brought it home when it was 8 weeks old. Tell me when that was that you brought the dog home?
I got the dog in, I believe it was September of 2015.
Now, at some point, Ms. Vick, your statement is that you and your daughter, but I'm concentrating on you because I may or may not have her testify.
Okay.
You noticed being right. Tell me what made you think that.
He was just laying out on the side yard, and he looked thinner than he had looked previously because I was the puppy's foster parent.
What do you mean foster parent?
Well, the Morrisons asked me to foster their puppies, the mother dog and the 3 puppies, and I fostered them for 6 weeks. And then
When you say
they
foster,
received
did you
the
have
puppies.
this litter? Is this a litter of puppies that
Correct.
you had?
Yes.
Your Honor.
Okay, just a second. So you had a litter of puppies?
Correct.
So you didn't get the puppy when it was 8 weeks old?
Well, the dog had the puppies, and when we were at work, Mrs. Vick came and got them from our yard.
No, just a second.
That is
Just
not
answer
true,
my
Your
question.
Honor.
Would you please answer my question?
Yes.
I was under the impression from both what you wrote and what you said that you got this puppy. Now, is it a fact that you had the mother to this puppy?
Correct.
Yes, so that would be a yes. So you had the mother. The female that you owned had puppies.
Correct.
Was that a planned pregnancy?
No.
So who was the father of this litter?
It is our other neighbor that lives across the way from us.
Well, how did that happen? I mean, I'm not asking how it happened.
But-
I actually know how it happened. But
Well, while we were at work, the dog had gotten out.
which dog? Yours or theirs?
Mine. And their dog was out, and the dog had gotten pregnant.
So when you were out, the Chihuahua got out?
Correct. While I was at work.
I don't care where you were. How do you let a little tiny dog, how do you let a dog get out and run across the street? How does that happen?
The dog actually digged a hole in the fence. We have a wooden fence, and she dug to get out.
Has she done that before?
No.
Did you know she was in heat?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you keep her inside?
Because she was only about 8 months old, and she wasn't all the way potty trained, so I don't keep the dog inside.
Why not? It's a small dog. How much does it weigh? A Chihuahua weighs 5 pounds, 6 pounds?
She weighs 25 pounds.
Your Chihuahua weighs 25 pounds?
Yeah.
Then it's not a Chihuahua.
She's a Chihuahua.
25 pounds is not a Chihuahua. All right, so your 25-pound Chihuahua dug a hole under a fence, went across the street, got pregnant, and then came home.
Yes.
Then you had puppies. She had 3 puppies.
Correct.
Now, is it one of the puppies that you thought was sick or the 25-pound Chihuahua?
Your Honor, I have pictures of their Chihuahua. She's not 25 pounds.
May I please see it?
Yes. And, you know,
I just want to see a picture. You
Sure.
said, I have a picture. I said, okay, you interrupted me.
There you
I'm
go.
not curious to see a 25-pound Chihuahua.
That's another one of their animals, their dog, too. That's in front of my yard.
Well, I can't tell how big these dogs are. Is the brown one the mother?
No, the white one.
The white one?
Yes.
The very skinny one. Okay, so you saw the white
I have
was this.
pictures
Give
of
me,
it.
shh.
I'm sorry.
Give me the date.
December 19th, 2015. I had previously fostered the puppies.
Now, tell me about fostering the 3 puppies.
Katie and Scotty, as I know him, Scotty, both were, and they had puppies. I fostered them from September 25th to October 30th because they had asked me to do them a favor, basically. They didn't want to keep the puppies inside the home, and the puppies were outside, and so they had asked us to foster the puppies because they couldn't care for them.
Okay. Did you do that?
Yes, we did.
Did you find homes for them?
One of the puppies stayed with me. One of the puppies they
So
took
you
back.
kept one puppy?
Yes.
So
I have
you
one
have
puppy.
one. Shh.
Sure.
You have one puppy?
Yes.
That you still have?
Yes.
How big is that puppy?
She's tiny, maybe 3 pounds.
What kind of breed is the father of these puppies?
I think a Chihuahua mix, possibly, or I'm not sure which one's the father.
So you kept one?
I kept one. I returned one to them.
and it was kind of a neighbor thing. We all kept a puppy. One of the other neighbors took the other puppy.
Did you give the other puppy away, or did they?
No, they decided who the other puppy went to.
What's the name of the other people who took the other puppy?
Oscar and Velma.
Were those the parents of the male?
Yes.
Okay, so they live across the street from you?
Correct.
Okay, so she fostered, she kept one, you kept one.
Yes.
Yes.
Fine. And that was in what month?
That was in
December.
December
of 2015.
The puppies were born September 11th.
So this is December.
So this is when they were 8 weeks old. I believe that was in November.
Okay, fine. Now, you noticed on December 19th,
yes,
the puppy that she had taken,
yes,
looked thin, the one that you had fostered.
Yes.
Okay, so what did you do?
So
make sure you tell me the truth.
We walked over. Yes.
Make sure, Miss Vick, I get the truth, because now I understand that you're watching over these puppies because you had kept them in your house for a while.
Right.
Okay.
And we're all neighbors.
Okay. I know that you're all neighbors. That's not the issue. Reading this thing, it looked like you were, a neighbor, but a dog lover, but a little bit of a yenta. Getting involved in other people's business. However, not the case, because if they asked you to foster the puppies...
That is the truth, Your Honor.
If you fostered these puppies, they were in your home for 8 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks, then you have an attachment for them, and if you see one that's sick, you would want to take some action. Now I understand. You're setting the picture for me.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so you notice one of the puppies is sick. Now, the next part is the part that I want you to be very careful about, Miss Vick.
Okay.
What did you do when you noticed the puppy was sick?
We walked over to the house because we had seen the puppy laying on the side. Invited us in. Katie was not at home at that time. We came over. We're like, oh, we're so worried about Lightning. Is he doing okay? And Scotty said, well, there he is. He's dying. He has a chicken bone in his throat.
Your Honor.
But you...
Shh. Don't
but
speak.
You can see. But
Don't
you can
speak.
see him.
She says you weren't home.
But you can see him. Okay. He even introduced me as the foster parent to the puppy, to another
just
friend.
Just a second. Are you telling me that the husband, that's him, right, said to you, the puppy is dying because it's got a chicken bone in its throat? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
My
daughter was a witness to that.
Go ahead.
She was there with me when he told me that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So just now you can tell me. Just a second. Now you can tell me what you did.
Okay. So I said, okay, well, maybe I can take it to the vet on Monday or something if you guys can't take it to the vet. Scotty said,
what day of the week was this?
This was Saturday.
So you were going to wait until Monday to go to the vet?
Well, it's not my dog, Your Honor.
Okay, but you said you were going to take it to the vet.
I was giving them a chance to do the right thing.
Go ahead, and what happened?
I was very ill. I had a lower respiratory infection. On Monday, I couldn't take it. On Tuesday, my daughter and I, as I started to feel better, I had went to the hospital. We walked over on Tuesday, December 22nd. On that day, we walked over. Kendall picked the puppy up. It was laying on the side of the house again. This is not a dog. It was on the outside.
So you took the dog, you took the dog to the vet?
We asked the grandpa. We knocked on the door. Kendall says, Grandpa, can you take the dog inside? Grandpa Rick. He said, no, the dog can stay outside. So my little girl is crying, begging me to take this animal to the vet.
So you took the animal to the vet?
That day.
Okay. And the puppy was operated on?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see the vet bills, please.
Sure. This is all of the information from the vet.
You'll have a chance. She hasn't made you a party. But I'm dying to hear from you, Mr. Morrison. Okay, now I'll hear you.
Your Honor, I never told Miss Vick to take my dog to the vet.
I didn't ask you whether you told her to take the dog to the vet. I never asked you that.
Okay.
I never asked you whether you told her to take the dog to the vet. Let me explain this to you. Neither you nor your wife asked Miss Vick to take your dog to the vet.
Correct.
That's what she said. Neither you nor your wife asked that you take the dog to the vet.
So...
What do you do for a living?
I work in the oil fields, ma'am.
What does your wife do?
She's a bookkeeper, accounting.
So
Our father-in-law is staying with us.
And what does he do?
He watches my babies.
So you have children?
Yes.
How old are your children, Mr. Morrison?
I have 3 boys, 8, 9, and 10, and I have a little girl that's 3 years old.
So let's concentrate on the 3-year-old. Let's say your 3-year-old is having a chicken, and a big old chicken bone gets stuck in her throat. So you can see it. You can feel it. You can see she's not eating. Can't swallow well. She starts to lose weight over a couple of days. She's only 3. And, you know, it doesn't take long for children to start losing their body weight. What do you think the state would do with your other children if you didn't take that little girl for medical treatment? What do you think they would do to the children?
They'd probably take them, but
Take them. They would take them.
Okay, but I never seen my...
Just a second. Listen to me. They would take them. And then do you know what the police would do with you?
Yeah.
They would arrest you for child endangerment. That's what they would do. They would arrest you.
Your Honor.
Now, I'm talking now. So what she said was she came to see you and said the puppy doesn't look well. Now, whether I believe that you're callous enough and a lowlife enough to say what she says you said, because you'd have to be lower, that the puppy has a chicken bone in its throat.
I never said
and
that,
it's
ma'am.
dying. So I said to you, I find that hard to believe that you actually said that. But it was brought to your attention that the puppy looked sick.
No, ma'am, it wasn't.
Oh, hey.
No.
Let me tell you what the vet said.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I texted her numerous times asking her if she had the dog. She said no. If she had our dog and we knew about it, why wouldn't she just give us the dog back instead of us having to call the cops to make her give us the dog back?
Listen to me, Miss Morrison, I don't want you to act stupid.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shelley Vick claims her neighbor, Katie Morrison, owes for vet bills after she took Katie's sick puppy to the vet. Katie says she never authorized the visit.
The vet said the puppy was brought for possibly eating a chicken bone the previous week and acting painful. Upon physical examination, it was palpably and visibly apparent.
Your Honor,
Quiet. Palpably, I don't know if that means if you touch it. And visibly, see it with your eyes, apparent that Lightning had a foreign body in its neck.
Your Honor,
listen to me. I'm not listening to you.
She took the dog on the 19th, and we asked her, I texted her numerous times asking her if she had the dog. She said no. Then my son went over there on the 24th. On the 24th, my son went over there and seen the dog there, and we had to call the cops to get the dog back. If she had our dog and we knew about it, why wouldn't she just give us the dog back instead of us having to call the cops to make her give us the dog back?
Listen to me, Miss Morrison, I don't want you to act stupid. On what date did you find the dog missing?
On the 19th.
You found the dog missing on the 19th?
Yes, ma'am.
That is not true.
And, quiet.
Okay.
And on what date did you find out that she had the dog?
On the 23rd.
Now, on the 19th, the dog was operated on on the 22nd.
I'm sorry.
If you say another word, I'm going to throw you out.
Okay.
Would you like me to do that?
No.
The dog was operated on the 22nd of December.
We were not aware of that, Your Honor.
Well, now you're aware of it.
Correct.
Now you should have been aware of it. You were entrusted with an innocent... mouth. You were entrusted with an animal that had eaten a chicken bone that was visible, you could see it with your eyes, and touch it. And if you're too busy, and your husband is too busy, and 2 dogs, one dog you didn't take care of, dug a hole under a fence, a 25-pound Chihuahua, and went and got pregnant next door, and then came back and you had puppies that you couldn't take care of.
Your Honor.
That you couldn't take care of.
Yes.
So you let her take care of them after they were weaned or before for 6 weeks.
We never agreed to let her take care of the puppies.
Oh.
That is not true.
Oh. Don't believe a word of that. I don't believe one word of that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you were irresponsible, not smart enough, A, to have the dog spayed. You know, that takes brains. If you were absent on that day, I'm sorry.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shelley Vick says neighbor Katie Morrison owes for vet bills.
Now, there's only really one issue for me to decide, and that is, did you have a contractual relationship? Put the pictures down.
Okay.
Did you have a contractual relationship with Miss Vick to pay her back contractually? Don't say no. I'm the judge. I'm the educated one legally and otherwise. A contract to pay her back. And the answer, speaking, Clearly, the answer is no. You did not have a contract to pay her back for the expense, $557, to have surgery on the dog to take out this chicken bone, which would have resulted in the puppy's death if she didn't intervene. The question is, having come upon a situation that she viewed correctly as dire, that the puppy, according to the vet, would have died had there not been surgical intervention, are you responsible as the owner of this puppy to pay her back for the vet bills? That's the only question. Contractually, you had no contract.
Your Honor, she did a GoFundMe account, so I believe that she already got all the money back for the account.
Just a second. How much money did you put into the GoFundMe account?
None.
Good. $557. Judgment for the plaintiff. If you can't manage to take care of all the children that you have in the house and the one dog that you had, because you were irresponsible with the one dog that you had,
dog without our permission.
You were irresponsible with the one dog that you had, because that's how you got puppies. So you were irresponsible, not smart enough, A, to have the dog spayed. That's one thing. So you weren't smart enough to have the dog spayed. Then you knew the dog was in heat, so what did you do? You let the dog stay. It dug under a fence to get to a mate. You know, that takes brains. If you were absent on that day, I'm sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, 2 dogs you don't need. You got a whole mess of kids, and you each work, and you have grandpa taking care of the kids, and you have one dog that you didn't take care of. You didn't need 2. And if somebody else had to intervene to take care of your responsibility, as far as I'm concerned, it's no different from... I'm speaking. It's no different from your neighbor seeing your child falling off a skateboard with an arm that's broken and a bone sticking out. I'm almost done with you.
Okay.
Taking your child and taking the child to an emergency room and then suing you for the emergency bill. You're the parent. I don't actually see a difference as a pet lover. It's no different if your 9-year-old son fell, broke an arm, and you weren't home, and you were out to lunch, and Grandpa was snoozing upstairs. If Miss Vick took your son to the emergency room, she used $557. I took care of your responsibility. That's what she did. She took care of your responsibility. Judgment for the plaintiff, $557. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
A young driver's first fender bender.
His dad said, we'll go ahead and take care of it without insurance.
Then you told the insurance company a different story. I see the smirk. I've been looking at that smirk for 40 years.
Judge Judy.
Morally, I did what was right. I took the pet to get the medical attention it needed.
She had the dog for 4 days. How do we know the dog didn't choke while it was at her house?
I feel that they were neglectful and that they did not care about this animal. They were going to just let it die.
She never was the foster parent. She took the dogs out of our yard without our permission.
She's obviously lying because I did foster her pets. I have pictures of me and my little girl fostering them.
Absolutely. If the dog was sick and I knew the dog was sick, I would have took the dog to the vet myself.
Because they're my neighbors, they're my daughter's friends. I don't want to call animal control on people that I actually like.
She did a GoFundMe to get money back for the money that she paid for the vet bill.
I never received any money on a GoFundMe.
We raised $300.
It's still living, it's doing well, so I feel I did the right thing.
We don't get along now. Our kids can't play with her kids, so.
They're actually not.
Sad for the kids. Thank you.
I don't want my daughter to be subjected to neglectfulness and people that behave the way that they behave.
Free estimate at Certapro.com.
Watching CBS 13 News.
Tonight on Live at 5, blindsided. Some workers in Oxford County say they had no idea they were losing their jobs. What those employees at Kaiser Homes are now hoping for. Plus, a 12-year-old is accused of going on a joyride. How police say he was able to steal a bus and get behind the wheel. And accused of ordering a child into a truck. Two men are now in trouble in Portland. Why one of the men calls what happened a huge misunderstanding. Join us for Live at 5 right after Judge Judy.
So you got out fast and easy from this short-term marriage?
7 months.
Enough. I know him for 3 minutes. I don't like him.
Lingering issues after their divorce.
You jointly bought a car. He took the car. You decided you didn't want this car anymore.
There was only 12 payments left.
So he dumped his trouble
From him, saying that he no longer wanted the responsibility.
Yeah, he's not a nice man.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinlin. This is Judge Judy. Sandra Beeson is suing her ex-husband, Calvin Spring, for the unpaid balance on a Ford Escape, car repairs, and DMV fees.
Order. All rise. This is case number 509 on the calendar, the matter of Beeson versus Spring.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat, please.
Miss Beeson, the defendant is your former husband.
Correct.
And while you were still married, you bought a car.
Yes.
And he was the primary on the loan, and you were the co-signer? Or was it a jointly held?
It was a joint thing.
That's not true. She is the primary owner. I'm the secondary owner on the car.
What does the title say?
The title says that she's the primary owner.
The title says Sandra Spring or Calvin Spring.
So she is the primary owner.
No, that's not right, sir. I mean, I know that you keep saying it. It really, actually, it doesn't make any difference to me, because while you were married, you jointly bought a car. Then you got divorced, and I assume you didn't make
The car at the very end of our marriage.
I don't care. I don't care. First of all, that's not what you say in the papers. You bought the car while you were still married. You jointly own the car. You jointly own the loan on the car. He took the car. In what month and year did you take the car, sir?
I took the car in August 2013.
November of 2013.
Okay. And for a long time, you made the payments on the car.
That is correct.
And then you decided you didn't want this car anymore. When was the car purchased? In what year?
October of 2013.
So now we're 3 years later, 2.5 years later, and you decide you don't want the car anymore.
That is correct.
So what did you do with it?
I tried to trade it in. I asked her numerous times to meet me because we both have to sign it. She was very evasive.
Explain me, evasive is a conclusion. You contacted her.
I contacted her numerous times. I wanted to trade the car. First, I didn't know if I needed a signature from her or not. So I looked into that. So, of course, she did as well. So I needed a signature. And from there, I contacted her. She did not respond to my emails.
I have emails to prove.
I have emails. I contacted, no response. No response whatsoever. I asked her, can you meet me? Can you meet me? No response until later after I left Carmen.
Well, let me ask you a question. You wanted to trade the car in for what?
A new car. A newer car.
You wanted a new... Listen to me. You wanted a new car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you wanted to use the car that you were paying for. She didn't put down any down payment on it. Is that right?
Her parents did.
Her parents did, so she had money invested in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
I was like $800.
How much?
$800.
And you took the car a month after it was purchased.
About a month, maybe a little bit later.
It says a month right here. October to November is a month. You know, math is not my strong suit. So a month later, you took the car and were making payments on the car for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you wanted it. Then you didn't want it anymore. Now, when you took the car, Mr. Spring, and left, did you give her the $800 back?
No, ma'am.
Why not? You were driving the car for how many years?
3 years.
So you were driving the car. It was your primary mode of transportation. She had $800 in the car. Why didn't you give her the $800 back?
Well, I was planning to pay her back if I would have kept the car. But
just a second, you did keep the car for 3 years.
I kept it for 3 years.
And depreciated it. Listen, look at my mouth. And depreciated it over the 3 years. So why didn't you give her the $800? Feel like it.
No, that's not correct.
Well, were you working?
I was working.
Then why didn't you give her the $800 back?
Because, number one, I was going to pay her parents back. I wasn't going to pay her.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. When did you pay her parents back?
I didn't pay her, but I did pay her some payments, but not on the car.
I'm not talking about on... I'm talking about the car, slick. If you owed her other money, I'm not interested.
Oh, no, I didn't make any payments. It wasn't that I didn't want to, is that I didn't make any payments on the car.
Okay. Now, you took the car back?
I got home from work on January 2nd. The keys were in my mailbox with a note, handwritten note from him saying that he got a new car, never wanted this to begin with, and no longer wanted the responsibility.
Yeah, he's not a nice man. So you got out fast and easy from this short-term marriage?
Yes, 7 months.
7 months, enough. I know him for 3 minutes, I don't like him.
Yes.
He's a hustler.
Yes.
And spoiled and selfish. How dare you do that? You had a car, you got to take the loss on it. You giving it back to her and say, here's this piece of garbage now that I've been driving around for 3 years. It's no longer worth what I paid for it. I can't do anything with it. I want a new car. I didn't give you back the money that you put into the car 4 weeks before I took off. Have you been making payments on the car, sir?
That's not true.
Have you been making payments?
I have making payments on the car. That is true.
Since you dropped it off, listen to my mouth, with both your ears. After you dropped the car off and left the keys in the mailbox, did you make another payment on the car?
No, I did not. However, I did offer to help her with the payments because it was only 12 payments left.
Yes.
He's an idiot. You're right, he's an idiot. You sold the car?
Yes, because I have a vehicle of my own. I couldn't afford to take on another car payment plus insurance, and I just wanted out of it. So I sold it to CarMax they bought it for $2,000, but the loan on it was still $3,547. So I had to pay $1,547 out of pocket just to be rid of it.
Okay, that's what you're going to get. How much did you pay on the loan?
$1,547, and then I had to pay all the repairs, smog, just to even get it registered.
I don't care. $1,547 is what she had to pay, sir, just out of pocket to take care of the loan on your car.
It wasn't my car. It was our car.
No, sir. You used that car as a primary source of transportation, and you actually paid on the car for 3 years.
That is true.
And you've actually paid on the car.
That is true.
No, don't interrupt me. I didn't take a breath. Don't interrupt me. Little child that you had a guy. I want a new car. I don't want this old car anymore. This old car is 3 years old, and if I dump it on her doorstep, she'll have to make up the difference because I'm saying I don't want the responsibility anymore. Thank God you had no children with him. Yes. You have children?
I do.
They live with you?
They're in college.
When was the last time they lived with you?
When they was like 15.
You pay for their college?
I do. I support them.
Do you?
Yes.
I wonder. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Big time. Charged for the plaintiff for the amount of $15,447.
What about the registration and all of that?
Actually, I'm going to explain why you were done. You're lucky you got $15,447. Only because what he did was really disgusting, dropping off the car. But if you're married, this gets taken care of in the judgment of divorce. You know that.
Okay.
And judges don't usually get involved with people who do things while they're married, then they get divorced, and they say, well, we'll handle this later. When you get divorced, you're divorced with everything. You're divorced with house, car, loans, debts, everything. But he's so scuzzy. And what he did was so despicable, just dropping it off because he wanted new wheels, that I'm going to give you the difference in what the loan payout was and what you sold the car for. Got it?
Got it.
Perfect.
Glad that I did get at least what the balance of the loan was.
It is what it is.
2.5 years you've had a vehicle and you can't just turn it over.
When I got my own car, I just dropped the car off.
Now this was the very last thing we have. It's done and over.
And when you guys get a divorce, make sure everything is in writing.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of McNatt versus Goodson. Step forward.
LaToya McNatt is suing Robert Goodson for the return of money she paid for a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Who has title to the car? Raise your paw.
I had title
to
the car.
Let me see it.
I don't have the car any longer, Your Honor.
I just want to know who has the title.
I said I had the title.
What did you do with it?
I donated the car.
You did?
Yes.
You didn't tell me that in here. You want to tell me why you didn't tell me that in your answer? Is not an answer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You used the car and drove around with it, and I don't know what the hustle was between the two of you, and I really don't care. But you can't drive around somebody else's property, somebody else's name, for 7 months.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. LaToya McNutt says Robert Goodson owes for the return of money she paid for a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Impound fees.
Okay. Who did you donate the car to, Mr. Goodson?
I donated it to a family.
Name of the family.
Cornell.
Did you write it off on your taxes?
No, I didn't file any taxes for the year, yeah.
So you don't mean you donated it to a family, Mr. Goodson? You mean you gave it away?
Yes.
Now, these must have been people that you were very fond of.
Yes.
So let me know their first name, their last name.
Cornell.
And where does Mr. Cornell live?
He lives in Newark, New Jersey.
So if you know him well enough to donate a car to him for no money, a car that you could have sold for just a little bit of money even.
No, the car wasn't in a condition to be sold, Your Honor.
Well, what would Mr. Cornell want with a car that wasn't in a condition to be sold?
He wanted the project.
He wanted a project to work on.
Right.
So he has a house.
Yes.
And he has enough space in the house to do the work on the car?
Yes.
What's his phone number?
I would have to access my phone to give it to you.
It's all right, you can do that.
All right.
Bird, just watch him on the phone, would you? Make sure he doesn't do anything like that texting stuff or anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Number's 929.
Is that the only number you have for Mr. Cornell?
Yes.
Great. Now you turn the phone off. Is this Mr. Cornell? Mr. Cornell, my name is Judge Judy Shineland. Do you know who I am? Okay, good. Can I ask you a couple of questions, sir? Great. I want you to tell me about this car. How much did you pay him for it? Was it drivable at the time that you gave him the $500 in cash? Did he sign the title over to you for $500? And did you register the car in your name? Okay, great. Thanks, Emil. Appreciate it. You've been wonderful. Bye. All right, so now that I have the end of this case, we're going to work our way backwards, because I have to do something to keep myself amused after a very long time here doing these cases, so I start from the end and then we go back to the beginning. So, I don't know what your relationship with him was. I don't care. He sold you a Jeep. He sold you a Jeep for $1,000. You paid him the $1,000. He doesn't deny that he got the $1,000 from you, but this is what he said happened. You never registered the car in your name, and he kept getting notices that he was getting tickets on the car because the car was still in his name. So he got tickets on the car, then it got impounded. He went and got the car out of the impound, and then, according to Cornell, you sold him the car for $500, and you signed the title over to him. That's what Mr. Cornell says. Duh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He says that he had the insurance in his name and you were paying him monthly for the insurance. Is that right?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, I know. There's a hustle here someplace, and it's the end of the day, and I'm not interested in where the hustle is.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. LaToya McNutt says Robert Goodson owes for the return of money. Robert is countersuing for tickets and impound fees.
Now you're going to tell me why you didn't put the car in your name. Look at me. Do you understand how foolish he looks right now? Yeah. You don't want to be there. I want you to tell me why you didn't put the car in your name.
I didn't have a title to register the car in my name.
Well, Mr. Cornell got the title.
When I first asked the defendant for the title, he said that he had to go to DMV and get a new title. Then he said he was waiting for it to mail. A few weeks later, I asked him again. He said I should get insurance in my name. I said, why would I get insurance in my name without a registration?
Why didn't you just ask him for your money back?
I did ask him for the money back. He said he would give me $500 by December, the beginning of December. However, that never happened.
But Mr. Cornell gave you $500.
John, if she agreed to take the...
No.
The
Mr. Cornell
title
gave you $500. So you originally wanted $1,000 for your car, and so far you've got $1,500 for your car. You're a very good businessman for somebody who doesn't file taxes.
It's not the case, Your Honor.
You got $1,000 from her on a car that you wanted $1,000 for. You got $500 from Mr. Cornell. So now you have
$500 approximately 7 weeks later. It wasn't all at one time.
I don't care if it's all at one time or not. You got from her $1,000.
This is the reason why she never took the title, because she didn't have all the money to pay me.
Listen, how many months did you drive the car?
7.
7 months. How much do you think the cheapest car you could rent for 7 months would be a month?
About $29 a day.
If somebody said to you, I will let you drive a car for $75 a month, would you think that was a bargain?
Yeah.
Great. So now you drove the car for 7 months, right? Times $75 equals $525. You don't have the car anymore.
No.
But you had the use of the car. Whosever's story, I believe, because he took the car back. Whosever's story, he got the car out of impound. You got it out of impound. Is that right, sir?
That's not how he got the car, Your Honor.
How did he get the car?
He got the car out of impound. I paid him for the car to get out of impound, which I had in my receipts here. And I got the car back.
That's because you got tickets on the car that you didn't pay.
No, I paid every ticket.
The tickets were received while the car was in his name in your possession.
And I transferred the tickets out of his name into my name through the court systems, which I have here, where I settled the tickets in the court system here as well.
Not interested.
So on November 21st, after he got the car from impound on November 2nd.
And the car was impounded because of something happened while it was in your possession. Not in his possession, your possession.
It was parked.
I don't care. It was in your possession.
Okay. So I gave him the money.
Well, as you should have.
Right. And then he gave me the car back, but on November 21st, he came and took the car without my knowledge in the middle of the night.
That's why we're here. I want you to think of it as you rented a car for 7 months at $75 a month, which means that if you paid him $1,000, $475 is left over. Now,
but I didn't rent a car. I bought a car.
Well, no, you didn't, because the car now belongs to Mr. Cornell.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so he got double paid for the car.
Well, no, he didn't get double. Listen to me. He's not going to get double paid for the car. He's going to get the original $1,000, well, actually a little bit more. $500 he got from Mr. Cornell. Maybe. He certainly didn't donate it to Mr. Cornell. But you used the car and drove around with it, and I don't know what the hustle was between somebody else's property, somebody else's name, for 7 months. Without registering it?
That's why I asked for the title.
Yeah, then you go to DMV and say, here's my bill of sale. I bought this car. He lost the title. He doesn't have the title. You do something. You don't do nothing. Aside from the fact that he says that he had the insurance in his name and you were paying him monthly for the insurance. Is that right?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah, I know. There's a hustle here someplace, and it's the end of the day, and I'm not interested in where the hustle is. All I know is you rented a car for 7 months at $75 a month. So I'm entering a judgment for you in the amount of $475.
However, I just bought a battery at the end of the month.
Listen to me. I don't care.
So my counterclaim, though.
You want me to even entertain your counterclaim? You just lied to me. You just lied to me.
There's still tickets that she didn't pay me for here.
You just lied to me.
I lied to you?
Yeah. You told me you donated the car to Mr. Cornell.
I did donate the car.
It's not what Mr. Cornell said.
Okay.
Bye.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A boyfriend dumps the girl, but keeps her car.
You didn't put any money into this car.
I bought the bed we slept on.
I don't care.
I bought everything, Your Honor. She's a gold digger.
You look like an idiot.
Judge Judy.
He said that he couldn't afford the car anymore.
Financial bind.
I gave him the money for it because he had the title. He had to definitely get it from the impound yard.
She never paid me for the impound.
Next time I buy a car, I'll make sure I have a title instantly as I give my money.
We live and you learn.
You know what a stop sign means?
Yes, ma'am.
A young driver's first fender bender.
What did his father say?
His dad said, we don't need to call the police department. We'll go ahead and take care of it without insurance. I'll pay for it out of pocket.
But this dad demolished their arrangement.
Then you told the insurance company a different story. I see the smirk. You may be able to hold down that smirk for your insurance company. I've been looking at that smirk for 40 years.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinlein. This is Judge Judy. Keisha Houghton and her mother, Chana Austin, are suing Luis and Christine Del Rio for the cost to replace their car after Keisha was in an accident with the Del Rio's son.
Order. All rise.
This is case number 497 on the calendar, the matter of Houghton Austin versus. Sir, have a seat.
Ms. Austin, it is your claim that the defendant's minor son, I assume this young man right here, was responsible for an automobile accident.
Correct.
And you want his parents to be responsible for the damage that was done to your car.
Correct.
And do you both own the car?
I owned the car. My daughter was driving at the time.
Were you in the car?
I was not in the car.
Okay, so why don't you have a seat? Perfect. How old is your son?
17, Your Honor.
Does he have a driver's license?
He does, Your Honor.
So he can drive by himself?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And do you have insurance on the car?
That is correct.
Were you in the car with him?
I was in another vehicle right behind him.
Were you there?
I was not, Your Honor.
Why don't you have a seat? Why don't you stand up next to your father? Okay, so Ms. Houghton, why don't you go over to that chart and explain to me your version of the accident?
I was coming down Highway 6 here in 24. I was headed home. I live here up on Soccer Field. I was making a left turn to go on Soccer Field, and the defendant's son, Ryan, was making a left. He has a stop sign here, and he actually was making a left as I was turning on Soccer Field and hit my mother's vehicle.
He had a stop sign?
Yes.
You did not?
Right.
Got it. And where did he hit you?
He hit me on the driver's side, the front fender, the driver's side, and the back door. It kind of scraped. It was a pretty slow motion collision, but it scraped.
Okay. Did you exchange information?
He gave us all of his information right away that, they accepted liability. He gave us his
Tell me what happened right after the accident.
I actually called my mom over because we lived right across the street. She came right over.
Did you see Mr. Del Rio?
Yes, he got out the car and asked me to move my vehicle so that we could get it out of block, so it wouldn't block traffic.
Okay.
So we all moved the vehicles. My mom came right over. He gave us a copy of it. Him and his son both took a picture for our phone because my mom had somebody hit her and give her trouble before. So we took a picture of them. We took a picture of his insurance card and a copy of Mr. Del Rio's ID.
What, if anything, what's your first name?
Ryan.
Did Ryan say anything to you at the time?
His dad was pretty much talking.
So he didn't. The answer is he did not.
No.
And what did his father say?
His father said, I told him I was getting ready to call the non-emergency phone number for the police department. His dad said, we don't need to call the police department. We can go ahead and take care of this without insurance. I'll pay for it out of pocket.
Why would you say that?
Our car did not have any damage, Your Honor, so it was side mirror.
No, that's just a second. Why would you say that? Unless you were accepting full responsibility for the accident.
Your Honor, taking responsibility and liability are two different issues. And
no, not
responsibility.
Mr. Del Rio, that is not true in these circumstances. Because if she were, so that the police would respond, they would look at the accident, they might measure the markings, they would see where the damage was, they would write a police report, which would be used by insurance to at least give them a jump start on who was responsible. So at that time, and you're an intelligent man, at that time, if you said, we don't need the police here, we can take care of this by insurance, if I were the plaintiff, I would say, well, then he's accepting responsibility. His son jumped a stop sign and hit my car, and I'll pay for it out of pocket because for whatever reason, I don't want to report it to my insurance because he's 17. He lives at home. If I report it to my insurance is, if I had insurance, my insurance is going to skyrocket. And it's going to skyrocket until he's 26 years old. So I'd rather handle this out of my pocket. All of those things, if I were an intelligent man, as you are, would be going through my mind. And therefore, responsibility and liability, I like this.
That is true, Your Honor.
Yes, it sure is.
That is true.
It sure is.
And in such the case that we submitted it to the insurance, and the insurance found not liability on the accident. So at that
let me tell you why, sir. because you told her not to call the police, that you would handle it by yourself. Story, which is why the insurance company disclaimed. There's no question in my mind that that happened.
Well, I have the picture before you.
There's no question in my mind that the person who says don't call the police is the person who doesn't want an objective set of eyes on the scene. The person who says that, and the person who has a 17-year-old and is smart enough to know that that insurance is going to go from $500 a year to $2,500 a year for the next 10 years, is going to say, you know what, we'll take care of this. And then you give some cockamamie story to the insurance company disclaims. That's why we're here. And I didn't even hear his version yet. Get over there and tell me your version of what happened. And you see this mouth? How I swallowed up your father? I can do that to a 17-year-old. Dude, I can do it easier to a 17-year-old.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, let's go. You're at a stop sign.
I was right here at the stop sign.
You know what a stop sign means?
Yes, ma'am.
What does it mean?
It means stop.
Stop. And it means stop and look both
ways before car.
And if you see a car coming, you don't what?
Don't go.
Go. That's what it means. So
I was right here at the stop sign. I had pulled forward a few feet, and I had seen that she was making a left-hand turn, so I stopped, and that's when she hit me. Coming
she hit you?
Left. Yes.
She hit you?
Yes, Your Honor. I was at a...
Hit you, and you had no damage to your car?
No.
Show me the car. And show me your car. So if she hit your car, that means that she would not have any side damage to her car. Mm-hmm. She would only have front damage to her car. Go back there. No. You understand what I'm saying to you, sir. If she hit you, that means she hits you with the front of her car. So she would have front-end damage to her car, and you would have side damage to your car if she hit you.
Your Honor, she didn't hit. She came as she made a left-hand turn, Your Honor.
He's driving.
As she made the left turn, she was able to hit with what would be her mirror, side mirror. And rub. And as you could see, Your Honor, my corner of the vehicle, of my car, Your Honor, was right there, the left corner.
Mr. Del Rio, let's follow each other, sir. And you may be able to hold down that smirk for your insurance company. But I've been looking at that smirk for 40 years. You told her not to call the police, that you would handle this, and there's no question that this lady told me the truth, because that's all she wanted. She wanted to exchange insurance information, call the police. And you said, no, let's not do that.
Your Honor,
let's not do that.
We did submit it, as I told you before, to the insurance.
Well, you're not following. I accepted responsibility at the scene that my son jumped a stop sign. I didn't get the police involved, and then I told my insurance company a cockamamie story that absolved us of responsibility. So that's why we're here. And I assume that since your insurance company didn't pay out anything, your rates didn't go up. Right. Can I see an estimate on your car, please?
Yes. Your Honor, the car has been totaled. She had a second accident after our event, and the car was totaled.
Is that correct?
Somebody did rear-end me. Yeah, somebody did rear-end me, and they did total the car after that.
Did you collect on that insurance?
Yes, but it was substantially less than what it would have been.
Just a second. Did you collect on that insurance?
Yes.
Let's not play with me.
Right.
How much did you collect on that rear-ending of your car?
$1,800.
And what kind of a car did you have?
A 98 Cadillac DeVille.
Look it up. How much did they pay?
$1,800.
1998 Cadillac DeVille.
$1,075.
$1,075?
Right.
You got the value of your car. What are we doing here?
They sent me a letter saying that Mr. Del Rio, I have the 2 letters from them saying the difference.
That's what your car is worth. You got almost twice as what your car was worth. I'm not absolving him of responsibility, but what you gave me is a bill for $4,500 to fix your car. What you're suing him for is $4,500. And Ms. Horton, that's ridiculous. He knows where I'm coming from, and I'm glad he told me, but that's a hustle. What you're just doing is a hustle. You're not entitled to collect twice. You weren't injured, were you?
Not from that accident, no.
We're done here.
And I don't think she was even injured from the other accident.
Just a second.
That's besides the point.
Doesn't matter. You got where I'm going. I'm an ecumenical abuser. You understand? Good. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She was on the phone while she was driving, and she had her left hand on the windowsill while she was making a left-hand turn.
I was not on the phone, and his son is 17.
Just rather unfortunate. I mean, I wish I could have backed up before it happened, but couldn't avoid it.
In 17 years, I've never caused an accident by making a turn. So, I've had my license longer than he's been alive.
Well, it is an accident, and sometimes...
When people say, let's not call the police or I'll take care of this, absolutely don't trust them.
We try to do the right thing, and sometimes the right thing isn't the right thing.
Always call the police, and we wouldn't be in this situation right now if the law enforcement had got involved.
And now, the next case.
Step forward.
Bruce Blair is suing his ex-roommate, Joyce Casey, for stealing his tools and recording equipment. Joyce has a countersuit for rent, property damage, court costs, and harassment.
Mr. Blair, you found a room in defendant's home through a realtor, is that correct?
That is correct.
When did you find that?
We moved in the beginning of July.
Who's
we? Found me and Joyce Casey.
Were you together?
Not as boyfriend, girlfriend, if that's what you mean.
I'm just asking you whether you moved in together.
As a business deal.
Who introduced you?
Martha, the realtor.
Now, I want you to tell me how it came about that the two of you moved in together to this house.
Martha put us together because neither one of us wanted to rent out a whole house. We met each other, me and Joyce Casey, met each other probably a week before we actually moved in at the beginning of July. We talked, we went to the house and looked at it, said, okay, it needs a lot of work, but, yeah.
So you rented it together?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Uh-huh, it's not an answer. Yes, it's an answer. Good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you lock him out of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you can't do that.
He was threatening me, Your Honor. He threatened to do great harm.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Bruce Blair says ex-roommate Joyce Casey stole his tools and recording equipment.
Now, it was a lease?
It was.
Did you both sign the lease?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. Martha wanted to do it with Joyce, and so left it at that.
Well, you can't tell me what Martha wanted. So you were not on the lease?
No, I wasn't on the lease, but I was definitely on the eviction.
No, just a second. You were not on... You were not on the lease?
No, I was not.
And you moved into the house on what date?
It'd be July the 1st we started moving in.
And on what date did you move out of the house?
I myself, after the restraining order was put in place, was fully out of the house on November 4th.
Did you pay rent on this house?
Oh, yes.
How much was the full rent?
The full rent was $700, and my half was $350.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Shh, don't speak. Did you pay rent in August?
Oh, yes.
September?
Yes.
October?
Yes.
Show me.
Well, I can't show you because she never gave me a receipt. I can show you the loan I got when we got evicted, the loan I took out to pay for the eviction so we could stay in there.
I don't care. Listen to me. I want to see where you took out either receipts, checks, bank withdrawals, something to demonstrate that you paid rent August, September, October. You don't have any.
But I can tell you I did pay the rent when she was out of work.
Just a second. She says you didn't pay the rent.
Oh, of course. Of course she says that.
Yes, she does.
That's what mathematics say.
Listen to me, Mr. Blair. That's the reason that she said that part of the argument ensued because of non-payment of rent, and she has a counterclaim for non-payment of rent.
I understand that.
Well, if you understood that, then you would have brought me proof that you paid the rent, and you can do that in many ways. Since this was a perfect stranger to you, that you only met for a week before you moved in together.
Well, I just found out about the counterclaim, Your Honor.
When did you find out about the counterclaim?
Yesterday.
Yesterday? Were you served with the counterclaim?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, then it's dismissed. It's without prejudice. You can refile it, unless you have proof that you served him prior to yesterday. The answer is yes or no.
They were unable to serve him because the address they had,
listen to
he
me.
was not able to be served.
Dismissed without prejudice. You may file it again, but if I say to him, you know, there's a counterclaim, you should have brought proof, and he said, I didn't know about it until yesterday, and you come from...
Yesterday.
Then he couldn't have brought proof even if he had it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So the counterclaim, I don't have to hear, it's dismissed. That makes my life much easier. Now all I have to deal with is property.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You can take that and get it off the desk because this is not a show and tell, sir. You're too old.
You were talking about property. That's some of the property.
Garbage.
It's evidence.
Ridiculous. All right.
She destroyed it.
That's a lie.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Bruce Blair says ex-roommate Joyce Casey stole his tools and recording equipment.
You say she got a temporary restraining order and you weren't able to get all of your property. What is that garbage that's on there?
Some of it's not garbage. This is some of the clothes that Mrs. Casey destroyed. I have pictures also of a whole bunch of them.
Just a second. Don't speak.
Pictures of a whole bunch of them she destroyed. And if you look through the property, you'll see that I have a whole bunch of cables for recording equipment. I'm a professional composer.
I thought you were a maintenance man.
I do that, too. I do everything I can do to make money. I've had many of my songs used in big corporate stuff.
This is not
movies.
an audition, and I've got the job.
The custom cables.
Just a second. You can take that and get it off the desk because this is not a show and tell, sir. You're too old.
There you go. You were talking about property. That's some of the property.
Garbage.
It's evidence.
Ridiculous. All right.
She destroyed it.
That's a lie.
Now, I want to know, Miss Casey.
Yes, ma'am.
You evicted him from the house.
Yes, ma'am.
For what?
I evicted him for non-payment of rent.
On what months did he not pay rent?
Our agreement was we would pay 50-50. Rent, utilities, everything. All monies incurred in running the household.
Just answer my question. Did he pay rent in August?
No.
Did he pay any part of the rent in August?
No.
Did he pay in September?
No, ma'am.
Did he pay in October?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you moved to evict him.
I did.
Now,
she didn't evict me, though, Your Honor.
Before you moved to evict him, did you lock him out of the house? That's a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, you know, you can't do that. You can't do.
He was threatening me, Your Honor.
Oh, God.
He threatened to do great harm to me. I was terrified.
Okay, then you call the police if you're terrified. You don't lock him out of the house. Are you still in the house?
I am. I paid all the monies.
Miss Casey, just answer my questions.
Yes,
I think you'll be much happier
so I could keep the
I think you're a bit nervous this morning.
I am.
You understand what I'm saying, Miss Casey? I think you're a little bit nervous. So why don't you just answer my questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
When you put him out, did he have any tools in your house?
Yes, he did.
You indicated that the stuff he left behind after he was allowed in to come and take his property, you viewed as trash and disposed of it.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
what I'd like to know is what specific items you disposed of.
Just some...
Not just some. Tell me what it was.
Some wiring.
Wiring?
There was some kind of either stereo or computer component. There was 2 bubble things that I think you use to air things up. I don't know anything about tools. I've never...
She knows how much they come on the market when she needs to buy meth, though.
That's a lie.
Listen to me, Mr. Casey. I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand? I'm going to dismiss your case.
Why is that?
Because you just shouted out and injected some talking to you. That's why. Now you understand why?
It's true, though.
Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Did you break the TV?
I don't recall.
This is the lady that you say has a drinking problem.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why would you encourage the drinking problem by drinking with her?
Next Judge Judy.
He is a lunatic. He's threatened me. He refused to pay rent.
Because she locked me out of my house.
I'm tired of being threatened.
Because she's a thief and a meth addict?
That's a lie.
She showed her meth addict ways.
I don't drink alcohol. I don't go to bars. I don't party.
I don't know. You know, just hope for the best. Hope people are good.
I don't believe I'm going to get a roommate. I had time to live on my own.
The only thing that I know is that she paid for it, And you have it.
A boyfriend dumps the girl but keeps her car.
When did you pay her back?
She was getting money throughout that whole time. I took care of her children, too, not only her.
Time to hit the brakes.
You didn't put any money into this car.
I bought the bed. She's a gold digger.
You look like an idiot.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 22-year-old Crystal Torres is suing her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Andres Navarez, for the return of a car, an assault, and harassment.
Order. All rise.
This is case number 503 on the calendar, the matter of Torres versus Navarez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Bird, would you get me the title to this car from the defendant, please? Title to the car. Original title.
I do not have the original title with me today.
Where is it?
Actually, my mom has it. I have the copy that I leave in the car.
What is your mother doing with the title to the car?
She keeps it in her safe for me.
Oh, well, good. Very good. Now, Mr. Navarez, this used to be your girlfriend.
Yes.
And while you were in this car,
Yes.
and when you split up, you took this car.
Yes, but we also had an agreement where if she got the car, I would supply the money, and we got into a house.
Just a second. She supplied the money for this car.
Yes, but she was paid back for it in full.
She was paid back how?
I actually got a job in the town that I live in.
No, it's partially my hearing. I know that my hearing isn't perfect. But between my hearing and your mumbling.
I'm sorry.
And trying to make a story that I believe. You see, you have two.
Yeah.
You really have two strikes against you. A, what you're telling me is a lie right now. And B, you're muttering so you hope that maybe I don't hear it. It's my problem that my hearing is a little off.
No, it is.
So then let's start again.
Okay.
Stand up straight. Because if you stand up straight, it's hard to mutter. While you were together, she used her money to buy this car.
Yes.
How much of her money did she use to buy the car?
She used $2,100 of her money and was paid back.
Just a second. Didn't ask you anything else. Stand up. $2,100 of her own money. And the car was how much?
$2,100.
$2,100. And you went to register the car.
Yeah, I paid for everything.
Just a second. You bought the car on what date?
I can't recall.
Remember.
Month and year?
2015, the year, but I don't remember the month. April. I think April.
Let's try again.
Crystal, look at your paper. Right there with the bill of sale. It says right there. I'm sorry.
April 18 of 2015.
April 18th. Now, when did the two of you break up?
Approximately 5 months ago.
What date did you break up?
I don't know exactly the date.
Month.
July.
June 9.
What?
What was it?
July.
July.
Could you stand up, please? Tell me who you are.
I am Brittany Garcia. I am Carlos Navarez's kid's mother.
You are whose mother?
Carlos Navarez, which is his brother. Is
that you?
Witness. I'm his kid's mother.
You're his child's mother?
Yeah.
Because what I thought I heard you say was, I'm his mother. I looked and I said, I'll have whatever she's having. So you and this young man have a child together?
Kids, yes.
Great. Now, but at least you're good at dates. So they broke up when?
In July.
Does that sound right?
I'm almost positive we were together longer than that because of a few...
Well, you said 5 months ago.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I couldn't tell you, but it's been over a few months since she has...
Now you started to tell me that she paid for the car, and I asked you a question which you didn't answer. Did you go to motor vehicles to register the car? That requires a yes or a no.
Yes, I did.
Was she with you at the time?
Yes, she was.
And you put the car in your name?
Yes.
Not in both your names, but just in your name?
No, it is in both of our names because she was my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, hold on. I'm just going to make sure. You're listed here as a lien holder.
I am the primary holder of that title. I do everything for that car.
She doesn't. Okay, it's funny, but all the receipts I got are over $500 in receipts, and she hasn't did a thing for it.
Just a second. We're not talking about a pet.
Yeah, you're right. We're talking about a vehicle.
There we are. You see, look at what you have. How many of these do you have?
2.
When you drive a car, Mr. Navarez, and if it has to be fixed, the person who is driving it pays for it. That's what happens, because you were driving the car.
So where was
now,
she within this time?
This is... Do you have parents?
I have 1.
You don't want them to look with 10 million other people at you when this case is aired and for you to look ridiculous, right?
I'm already looking ridiculous being here,
No.
ma'am.
Well, listen, nobody forced you to... We didn't bring a sheriff with a gun to you adjudicate your case before her. You came voluntarily. And the reason you came voluntarily is because now that I look at it, the car is in both your names, and you're listed as a lien holder, which is really very smart. Since you didn't put any money down on the car, why in the world would you be listed as a lien holder?
I bought the car with my own money, Your Honor.
Well,
After she bought it, she was paid back.
Just a second. Well, that's what I want you to tell me. Now we're getting to the second part. The car is bought April 18th. You break up in July. When did you pay her back?
She was getting money throughout that whole time. I've paid over $2,000 worth of her kids alone. I took care of her children, too, not only her.
What? Listen.
Yeah, and they're not even my children, Your Honor.
Mr. Navarez, I want you to listen to me.
That's the funny thing, right?
I want you to listen to me. What you are suggesting to me is when the two of you were together, living together, sharing a bed together, and you were, well, you slept on the floor?
I bought the bed we slept on.
I don't care.
I bought everything, Your Honor.
I don't
She's
care.
She's a gold digger.
Listen to me. I don't care if you bought the bed, sir.
And her little sidekick, too.
But listen, you look like an idiot.
I know I do.
I don't know what...
I know I do being here.
No, you look... I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The way you're behaving may...
A goat.
Sir, this is the scenario you want me to buy. I want you to pay attention. Use your 2 ears to listen. You were together for a relatively brief period of time. You have no children together. She has children. You fell smitten with her. And then you took care of her and her children.
At an agreement.
Just a second. You took care of her and her children because you wanted to.
No, Your Honor, it was an agreement.
It was part of a mutual agreement. It was spoken. It was a verbal agreement.
Just a second.
I can stand up and tell you.
Just a second. Get out. Get
You want me to get out? Because I will.
Now.
Just go,
now.
I don't want to sit right here.
Right now.
You don't know the
Perfect.
right questions.
Perfect.
It's all good. It's okay.
Very good.
Your Honor, there was...
Now, are you telling me that you had an agreement with her, Mr. Navarez, so that you took care of the bills at home and
Everything.
she was going... Hey, let me finish! Okay. So that you took care of the bills at home and she said, I will spend $2,100 for a car that will be yours. Is that what you want me to believe?
Your Honor, if you let me say my story, I would be able to tell you and you'd be able to understand more because I'm not able to tell you everything that I'm trying to tell you. We had an agreement. You know, my whole family knows. She was living with my mother. And my mother was paying the rent. So whatever, who she is, I don't know why she's even here, Your Honor.
Shh. Out.
She's a mooch.
Out. Did you hear what I just said? Oh, sorry. Out.
Out. Mooch.
You say, listen to me, you say one more word. I'm going to give her exactly what she wants. You know what that's going to be? I'm going to notify motor vehicles to take your name off as a lien holder and to take your name off as a co-owner. Do you understand me? Now, I'm listening to what should be a legal agreement with regard to this car. Don't tell me what your family does. Don't tell me she lived with your mother and you didn't pay rent. I'm not interested in the fact that you bought a bed. I want you to tell me how you paid her back for this $2,100. You tell me.
Okay. Now, at the beginning of all this, we had said each other as a couple that we would help each other because she also brought 2 kids to the table. It was a very burden on my back.
Would you tell me the agreement?
Yes. Okay, the agreement was, okay, she put the money down for the car. If I paid her back, then we would be able to jump into an apartment, you know, and start doing our thing like grown, you know what I'm saying? Well, we did it, okay.
No, now you're looking over here. First you were looking over here. You had an agreement.
We had an agreement. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you, they paid off and get us into an apartment, which I did, Your Honor. I did all of that for her and her children, but we also had an agreement. So when things went south and she left back to Chicago because she had to, she had a case with DCS, so she had to go back. You know, so I understood that.
I'm waiting for the payback.
Yes.
How did you pay her back for the car?
I paid her back with cash. She was my girlfriend for a long time. You know, I paid her back. I didn't want nothing in paper. I didn't think this was going to ever come to this, Your Honor. And that's where I messed up, because I dealt with someone that I should.
Just a second. I'm going to go back to what I said before. Are you telling me that you consider it payback, the money that you supported her with both before the car was purchased and after?
Your Honor, that was the agreement.
No. Listen, I want you to answer my question.
I consider it payback, seeing as I paid her money for the car and got her a crib, a house, and paid for all the food and everything in that.
Yeah. That's not an agreement, because you figured out that she went back to Chicago and you invested a lot of money in the relationship. You paid for her food. You paid for her children. You paid for her clothes. That's not a contract that's binding in a court, sir.
Who has a contract with their girlfriend, Your Honor? Who has a contract with their girlfriend at the time, you know?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I just hear a big old boom, and there's smoke, there's the gas smell, and then got my kids up. Ma'am, she will not respond to him. She kept pressing on the gas, and she kept driving like she was driving the car.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Crystal Torres says ex-boyfriend Andres Navarez stole her car.
Listen to me. What you have is not a contract.
Yeah.
What you have is not a contract. So what you have is a car that's jointly owned.
Yeah.
And that you were swift enough to put your name down as a lien holder. You didn't put any money into this car, but you listed yourself as a lien holder. You just said to me, who has a contract with their girlfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have to make a decision with regard to this jointly owned car that costs $2,000 as to who is going to own it. Because right now, the only thing that I know is that she paid for it and you have it. But I also know that from the time that you bought it, it's almost a year and it's not worth what it was before. You understand that?
Your Honor.
Hey, I'm not talking to you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what kind of car is this?
It's an 05 Chevy Cavalier.
Would you take a look and see what that car is worth?
I also have bill of sale.
I don't...
1,050.
That sounds perfectly reasonable. Where's the car now? In your driveway?
No.
Where is it?
It's actually at a friend's house.
Okay, good. Listen, give him back the copy of this. He's never going to be able to sell this car because he can't get her to sign it. I'm giving you $1,050, which is what the car is worth today. Do you understand?
Yes.
You lost $1,000, but you would have lost $1,000 anyway.
Yeah.
He has the car. You don't have the car.
No.
And you don't have any mechanism to get the car.
No.
Good. $1,050, judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
That's his personality. He's just mean.
To be honest, she's a gold-digging piece.
Like that. He's a deceiving liar.
Man, I should have found it out a lot earlier than I did.
I just wanted to get over with this.
And they're broke on the street. You know, I'm not broke. You know, they see me and try to get money from me.
And I don't want to see him ever again or get near him ever again.
Gold digger, kick rocks.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Medellin versus Wilkerson. Step forward.
Celeste Medellin is suing motorist Yolanda Wilkerson for losing control of her vehicle and crashing into her house.
Miss Medellin, the defendant's car crashed into your house.
Right.
Caused severe damage to your house.
Yes.
And that's really not, I don't think, her house.
Yes.
You have a defense, which I'm dying to hear. But I'm going to start with you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What were you driving around without insurance for?
I didn't have the money.
Then you don't drive. You're a postal worker. How long have you been a postal worker?
17 years.
Then you had the money for insurance, unless you're spending it on something else.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Celeste Medellin says motorist Yolanda Wilkerson lost control of her vehicle and crashed into her house.
Tell me on what date this happened.
This happened on August the 3rd, last year, like around 8, 9 o'clock at night. I was in my room sleeping, watching TV with my kids. All of a sudden, I just hear a big old boom. and there's smoke, there's the gas smell, and then the bricks started falling off. So that's whenever, at first I was in shock. So then I went ahead and got my kids out the house. My husband went outside. That's when he went over with Miss Rhonda, and he was like, ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. She will not respond to him. She kept pressing on the gas. And she kept driving like she was driving the car. And he would kept saying, ma'am. So she would not respond. She was like, stop.
You saw this?
I did, because I went outside after he was already talking to her, but she would not respond. So that's whenever he grabbed and took off on the gas. He was like, you're going to go more inside the house. And she didn't. She kept doing this and pressing.
Can I see the pictures of the house?
Yes.
In the car. Are you an owner or a renter of this house?
My mom owns the house, but I pay the bills.
Okay. Did you have insurance on the house?
I do have the insurance on the house.
And the insurance paid for the repair?
We're not using the insurance because it's going to triple my insurance.
Well, how are you going to fix the house?
We're fixing it out of pocket, little by little. I have the estimate and the police report also with the damages she caused.
Whose truck is this?
Mine.
Where were you coming from that night?
I was coming from home.
Coming from home, going where?
To visit a friend.
What's the name of the friend you were going to visit?
Allison.
Can I see the police report, please?
Mm-hmm. Whenever
what kind of work do you do?
Postal worker.
Who is your insurance carrier?
United Automobile Insurance Service.
What's Old American Country Mutual?
That's through the United Automobile Insurance.
Was that policy in effect when you went through the house? Don't give me an Was the policy in effect when you went through the house?
I thought it was, Your Honor.
I don't care what the house.
Yes, I found out it was not.
So that's why we're here. So that when the police took your information, you told them that you were insured with Old American Country Mutual, but that turned out to be not correct.
Correct.
How much prior to August 1st of 2015 did your policy expire?
A month. 1 month.
How many months?
3.
3 months. You want to restate that? How many months prior to having this accident did your insurance expire?
Well, I thought it was 1 month, ma'am.
But now you know better.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, what were you driving around without insurance for?
It was not on purpose, ma'am.
Well, it was on purpose if you didn't pay the bill.
Well, I didn't have the money.
Then you don't drive to visit your friend, Allison. You're a postal worker. How long have you been a postal worker?
17 years.
Then you had the money for insurance, unless you're spending it on something else. Driving around in a car, then you pay insurance. Anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, whenever I went to her house prior, when I went and talked to her and told her about the damages she had caused, she told me she wasn't working, that she had 10 months without a job. She told me she wasn't going to pay for the damage. Wait, she was like, well, go for it. I'm not paying you. I don't have the money. Other people pay my bills. She never said she had a job.
Do you work for the post office or not?
Yes, I do, but I have not been at work in, like she said, in about 10 months.
For why?
Due to injury.
Do you collect disability? Workman's compensation?
At the time when she came, no, ma'am.
She said she did.
If you weren't working, what were you doing driving around in a car? Because you can't work in the post office, what are you doing driving around visiting Allison at 9 o'clock at night?
I was going to visit my friend and see if I could borrow some money.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done here. Irresponsible.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You never expect to be laying down at home and all of a sudden someone hits you.
Well, when I was on my way to visit my friend, someone hit me from the back.
I mean, just imagine a TV falling on top of you while you're laying down with your kids.
I lost control of my car and passed out.
And your kids screaming and crying, that's pretty scary, traumatizing.
And it ended up running into her house.
Well, they didn't do a sobriety test, but once we opened the door, it smelled like liquor in there.
No, there was no allegation. She thought I was, but no.
Get insurance or don't drive.
Just be more careful when they're driving, pay more attention, and pay their insurance.
Before their breakup, the damage was done.
She began throwing things. The TV was broke.
Did you break the TV?
I don't recall.
Did an evening of alcohol,
relaxing, having a few drinks,
set her off?
This is the lady that you say has a drinking problem.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why would you encourage the drinking problem by drinking with her? You and I aren't going to get along Mr. Boyd.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Dustin Boyd is suing his ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Jessica Wisenhunt, for a car loan, bail money, and the destruction of property.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 535 on the calendar, the matter of Boyd versus Wisenhunt.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Mr. Boyd, how long did you and the defendant live together as a couple?
Roughly about 4 or 5 months. But we were dating for 2 years.
What I want you to tell me is from when to when did you live together?
From November 27th until December 7th.
Well, more than a year ago now, according to your complaint, you lent the defendant some money to buy a car. Now, 13 months ago. Is that right?
Yes.
That was in
February
of 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you continued to date, continued to have a close, intimate relationship, and then moved in together in November of 2015.
Yes.
Now, from February of 2015 until November of 2015, how much of this $1,000 that you gave to her to buy a car did she pay back?
Your Honor, she had signed over her Buick LeSabre to me in attempts to make a payment.
So she signed over the LeSabre to you?
Yes, her old car that was running into issues.
What did you do with it?
I sold it. I ended up getting $900 and gave her $500 back because she needed it for bills and whatnot.
Did he sell the Buick LeSabre?
It was the Buick Century, and I gave it to him in order to get the $1,000. That was the agreement, and he sold it to his discretion.
And he sold it. Did he give you back any money?
Not at the time that he sold it. Later on, throughout the relationship, he did give me money.
Now, Mr. Boyd.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you give her the $500 in one lump sum?
In one
from
lump
the
sum.
Proceeds? Show me.
It was in cash, Your Honor.
So that in any event, she doesn't know, because I'm reading your...
Verbally, we had agreed.
No, don't. If she gave you the car, which you sold, you say, for $900, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you gave her $500 back, that still doesn't come to $1,000 for the car.
No, but I saw it as an attempt, the $400 that I kept, as an attempt to pay the bill or the loan that I had offered.
All right. So in what month did you sell the Buick?
It was roughly around June.
So you gave her the $1,000 in February, and she gave you the Buick in June? That sounds odd.
She signed the Buick over once she got her car, but it took a little while to sell the vehicle. I had it up on like Craigslist and
Who drove it
different
between
sites.
February and June?
Nobody. It was sat in front of my grandparents.
Is that right?
I drove the car until I got a new car, Your Honor.
So you didn't buy a new car until June?
Exactly.
So you drove the car, it didn't sit in front of your grandfather's house?
Exactly.
You and I aren't going to get along, Mr. Boyd.
Well, Your Honor.
You are not going to get along.
Okay.
All right. I don't care about the car.
Okay.
How's that? I don't care about the car. I don't care about the $1,000 or the $300 or the $500 now. According to you, you gave it to her in February of 2015. And between February and the time that you relationship, and then you moved in together for about a month and a half?
Roughly.
Roughly. Into an apartment, yours or hers?
Mine.
So she moved into your apartment?
My trailer, yes, Your Honor.
And when she moved into your trailer, had she made, other than the stuff that you've told me, any other payments towards this $1,000?
No, Your Honor.
No. You moved in with her anyway?
Yes.
Yes. You told her to come move in. Now, what's the next thing you think she owes you for?
There was a fight, basically, on the way home.
Date?
I have it right here. That's 10/7.
October 7th?
Yes, October 7th of 2015.
Yes.
We were driving home, and I was attacked, you could say. And my window to my car was kicked in. And
By her?
Yes, Your
By
Honor.
her. Okay. Now, let me understand this, Mr. Boyd. After you had a big fight, and she smashed your window, and she attacked you, you invited her to move in with you?
It was before.
No, it wasn't before. You just told me she moved in with you on November 27th to December 7th.
Some dates, I work a lot of hours, and I apologize, I might be off with some dates.
We're not talking about days.
Understand.
We're talking about months and years, sir.
Well, I had bonded her out after this. I would like to show you.
You bonded her out. You got her out of jail. You got her, just a second.
Okay.
You got her out of...
November 9th? October 9th.
October 9th. And then you proceeded, according to you, to live together until December 7th.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
In your trailer.
Yes, Your Honor.
Close quarters.
Yes, Your Honor.
What else?
Really, that's the issue, because the damages for the car and then the damages to the house, the TV, things were broken in a fit of rage.
What date were things broken in a fit of rage?
November 7th was the car, and then December 7th was the fit of rage.
All right,
TV,
now we're talking about 12/7, and that's the date, according to you, that you broke up.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you haven't been intimate since December 7th. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, then the only thing that I'm interested in, sir, is what happened on December 7th. I'm going to tell you why. You're playing house. It's all very nice. There's something in the law called condonation. And that's when if a guy or a gal, it's usually the guy doing family law for so many years, it's usually the guy, complains about all kinds of dastardly deeds that their wives did to them. And then afterwards, they sort of make up in bed. The law says, under those circumstances, you've condoned it, and you complain about it, and you said, come on, honey, let's go make up. Well, when you say, let's go make up, she says in her head, all is forgiven. Do you understand?
Yes, sure.
So the only thing that I'm interested in that you are claiming as far as damage is concerned is the damage that you allege that she did on December 7th, because afterwards you had no relationship with her. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. So why don't you tell me what happened on December 7th?
We were at the house watching TV, relaxing, having a few drinks, and she became irate about certain situations.
Just a second. You were having drinks with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
What were you drinking?
I had a beer. She was drinking
You had
mixed drink.
You had a beer?
Yes, I don't drink very much, Your Honor.
Okay.
Beer
But you were having a beer with her?
Yes.
And this is the lady that you say has a drinking problem?
Yes, Your Honor.
So why were you drinking with her?
That's what she likes to do, so...
Now what? I'm not asking about her. I'm asking about you, Mr. Boyd.
Because...
If she's got a drinking problem and you're her mate, why would you encourage the drinking problem
I don't
by
encourage
drinking...
it.
Let me finish.
Okay.
By drinking with her.
Because when she do not just grab a beer and try to...
Who is he?
This is my cousin.
Your cousin is looking at you and saying to himself, he sounds like such an idiot. Look at him. That's what he's saying to himself. You know what? Because I read his face.
I hear you.
He says she's got it, and he sounds like such an idiot. So now you're in the trailer with your girlfriend who's got a drinking problem, and you're drinking with her, watching TV, and tell me what happens.
She began throwing things at me, and...
Just right out of the blue?
No, she was arguing about Facebook issues. Somebody liked my picture, something like that, along those lines. It was very petty.
Somebody liked your picture on Facebook?
An ex-girlfriend, yes, Your Honor. And things became irate. And
He's always on Craigslist, Your Honor.
And things became irate, and she began throwing things. The TV was broke, computer, quite a few holes in the wall. As she was throwing things, the holes on the trailer.
What were you doing? What were you doing?
I was trying to calm her down.
And how were you trying to do that?
Basically, talk to her, just like relax. It's not that serious. There's literally nothing going on there, and I can't help what somebody else likes a picture on my Facebook. That's totally out of my control, Your Honor. And I was just trying to calm her down.
Just talking to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'd like to take a look at her.
I would like to give you this, too, for the report for the window.
I'm not looking at the window. I don't care about the window.
I understand.
I just explained that to you. Didn't you hear me? What is this that you're showing me? An X-ray of your hand?
It's actually my foot, and it was that I wouldn't be doing any kind of like fighting back in any kind of way.
Would you give this junk back to him, please?
That was just the first.
Would you? Just a sec.
I apologize.
Just give me what I asked for.
Understand.
Pictures of the thing that she broke.
Understand it.
These look like children's toys.
Yeah, there was a bin full of toys that was smashed, smacked down.
Who has a child?
I do, Your Honor.
That was living in the trailer with you?
No, she was living with her father at the time, Your Honor.
Does she still live with her father?
We switched on and
it's
off.
not a...
We shared custody.
When does she stay with her father?
Every other 6 weeks.
So there was a period of time that she was living with you in this trailer?
Unfortunately, yes.
You have a job?
Yes, Your Honor, I have 2 jobs.
Good. Who put the hole in the wall?
That's actually, I got the same picture here. That's my body. He pushed me into the wall. I don't know why he's showing you that one if he's trying to make a case.
I'm looking for pictures of the broken TV. Broken TV. I see a picture of the TV.
Yeah, that one's broken at the bottom, and then the other one is actually on, and it should have lines on it.
Did you break the TV?
I don't recall breaking the TV. It could have happened in our little tussle, but I don't recall.
There should be 2 TVs in there.
Okay. I want you to tell me what happened on December 7th.
I don't know what situation we're actually talking about on the 7th, because I went to jail on October 7th. So what are we talking about, holes in the walls?
No, he said that you had a fight on
December
7th.
I guess we got into a fight. He's always talking to females online.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Don't make it up as you go.
Oh, no, Your Honor.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you have a phone?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Take it out. Go to February. But you watch over his shoulder while he does that because, you know, it's not that I'm not trusting of these people. It's just that I'm not trusting of these people.
And later today.
She found another place to live. She signed a lease. She did exactly what the 3 of you told her to do. And now you want her to be responsible for February and March rent? What are you, crazy?
We all signed a contract.
Are you crazy?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Dustin Boyd says, ex-girlfriend Jessica Wizen and for destroying his property in a drunken rage.
Now, when was the last time you had contact with him, other than today?
Last month, Your Honor.
Last month. That would be February.
Correct.
On what date in February?
I cannot tell you.
Beginning, middle, or end?
Middle.
Was that a phone communication or an in-person communication?
Text messages.
I'd like to see them.
My phone's not on, Your Honor.
Put it on and get me to February and the communications that you had with him in February.
All right, it's going to take a second, but...
That's all right. Take a second. I have all the time in the world.
Your Honor, I got this new phone about 2 weeks ago, so I do not have those text messages with me. My phone was broke, so I had to get a new one. I'm making a claim.
You remember having communication with her in February, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. Do you have a phone?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Take it out. Go to February. Bird, would you watch over his shoulder while he does that? Because, you know, it's not that I'm not trusting of these people. It's just that I'm not trusting of these people.
It starts at March, so I don't have February either, Your Honor.
Well, that's unfortunate. Let me tell you something, Mr. Boyd. When you find February, you come back to me. Your case is dismissed. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Please excuse me. Step out. She was kind of making up stories as she went, trying to get them out there on me.
He was beating her.
That I was beating her.
And, I mean, he's a violent person, so...
Not at all, Your Honor.
I was a little frantic and off, so that's why I went to jail, because I couldn't be quiet.
We don't talk anymore.
I don't care. There's no relationship between us, and there's never going to be it. I'm done.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lenz, Arnold, Smith versus Silverstein. Step forward.
20-year-olds Natasha Lenz, Rayla Arnold, and Darby Smith are suing their former roommate, Karina Silverstein, for rent and utility bills.
Miss Silverstein, these were your roommates?
Yeah.
You moved out?
Yes.
You moved out 3 months prematurely or more?
More.
More. But they got a roommate to fill in this month?
No.
Oh. Well, you're suing her for rent for February, March.
Yes.
And are you going to be in the apartment in April? Well, what are you planning on doing in April? Suing her again?
We're planning on getting a subleaser, but we tried
What does that mean, planning on?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Yes, take me off and I will gladly leave is what she wrote. Based on that, she found a new apartment and she moved. But then one of you changed your mind. Who changed their mind? Raise their paw.
Real cases, real people. Rayla Arnold and Darby Smith say former roommate Karina Silverstein owes for rent and bills. Karina is countersuing for the return of her security deposit.
Ms. Lenz, does that mean that you have somebody to move in April?
We found someone.
Just to answer the question, does that mean that you have someone in April?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the name of the person that you have in April?
Paige.
And she's taking over her same amount of rent?
Yes.
When is she moving in?
She will move in when Karina allows her to.
What does that mean?
We want Karina to at least have agreements with Paige. We would like
Ms.
Karina,
Silverstein?
Yes, Ms. Silverstein.
What kind of agreement do you want her to have with her?
A sublease agreement.
You girls. Okay, this is what this case revolves around. She moved in, you weren't happy with her, she wasn't happy with you. She says that at some point in the beginning of February or January?
January 15th.
That someone sent her a text or a message that said, this isn't working out for all of us, we want you to move. Is that correct?
Yep.
I'd like to see that message. Who sent the message? Raise your hand. All right, Miss Lenz. So you wrote, oh, also, we are meeting on Sunday to amend the lease. We would like to take you off.
Who's living in our house?
I just wanted to run that by you first. And then she writes back, I'd be taken off as of February 1st, so you can move out if you would like. I know things really haven't worked out as we thought it would, but now you have OU.
And out.
How does that sound? Because I need to let the group know that we are all ready to meet up. Yes, take me off and I will gladly leave, is what she wrote. Based on that, she found a new apartment. And she moved. But then one of you changed your mind. Who changed their mind, raised their paw, and wrote her again and said, we changed our mind? Yes? Anybody? That would be you. On what date did you write to her and say, we changed our mind?
I believe
The 19th.
the 19th.
Of what?
Of January.
Okay, but she had already started looking for a place. Did you find a place?
I did, and I signed the agreement, and I already paid it as of January 20th.
Well, she's not going to give you any money. Why would you think that she would give you any money? You told her that you were taking her off the lease. Is that okay with you? She found another place to live. She signed the lease. She did exactly what the three of you told her to do. And now you want her to be responsible for February and March rent? What, are you crazy? I mean, are you crazy?
We all signed a contract.
Are you crazy?
Judge Judy continues. Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You told her to leave based upon your agreement. She committed herself to another lease, paid another deposit, and then you changed your mind. But she acted upon your agreement to her detriment. She doesn't have to pay you a quarter. Now, who has her security, you or the landlord?
The landlord.
Well, you can't sue them for security.
Okay.
If they leave the apartment, you have to let the landlord know that your portion of the security has to come back to you.
Okay.
Reasonable?
Yeah, except I would like to be taken off of the lease since I don't live there, and they have 3 different people that could easily replace me on the lease. Is that possible?
Is it possible? It's possible if they do it, now that they know that this is a final decision. They know that they can't go against you for 0.
Okay.
They may be willing to take you off the lease. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. We're done here. Case is dismissed.
Thank you so much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She expressed her feelings that she did want to move out, so we gave her that option.
They would throw my stuff down the stairs since my room was down in the basement.
We had a deal with the landlord, and that deal didn't go through, and the lease for free.
And they prevented me from parking in the back parking lot where we lived.
She had to stay on the lease.
Honestly, I was a cheerleader in high school, and I thought that that was as mean as girls got.
I mean, we're living in a house with 6 girls. I mean,
but I was wrong. They can get meaner.
Yeah. Girls are going to have problems.
a vacation home renter demands his stuff.
She allowed you to store some things at the house, some Christmas decorations.
We had actually left a number of things in the house.
But is it worth the fight?
I have to tell you that I am so unimpressed with this list. A hammer, a can opener, handheld, coffee mugs, one water spritzer bottle.
Yes.
You know, plastic one with it like this. She was nice. She didn't throw it in the trash, which is what I would have done.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Jeffrey Wigman is suing Kathleen Peel for the value of belongings left behind in a vacation home he rented from her.
Order. All rise. It's case number 536 on the calendar in the matter of Wigman. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, huh?
Mr. Wigman, you, according to what I read, live in the Cape. And for several years, since 2012, you were renting a house in California from the defendant for the winter months. How many months during the winter did you rent the house? From when to when?
In the first year, in 2012, we rented it for 2 months.
2013?
Well, it started actually in December of 2012 and went through April 30th of 2013.
December 1st.
Correct.
2012 to?
April 30th, 2013.
Fine. The next year?
The next year was from November 1st, 2013 until April 30th, 2014.
Great. Next year?
Well, the next year, the defendant decided to sell the house or put it under a long-term lease, and we had to look for another place.
Okay. When did she advise you of that?
She advised me of that in, well, we went back and forth actually a little bit, starting in May of 2014, and then finally in July of 2014, they made the decision that they weren't going to rent to us and would be renting or selling the house on a long-term basis.
Fine. Very good. This is what the case is about. Is your claim that you stored some things at the defendant's house. She allowed you to store some things at the house decorations. It appears as if most everything else that you stored there, you got back. The one thing that you didn't get back were the Christmas decorations that you're suing for. Do I have that succinctly?
That's correct. There were some Easter decorations in there as well, but basically they were decorations.
You have Christmas decorations because you were there since 2012, Christmas time.
Right.
And they weren't.
Correct.
So you left a box, bag, whatever, of Christmas decorations. And?
Well, we had actually left a number of things in the house.
I understand that, but they did, in fact, return most of the things that you left in the house. The only thing that was left was a bag of Christmas decorations.
That's correct. When we got back there in November of 2014, when we went through the things that had been provided back to us, and we told them that we were missing some things, and I got an email that says, I believe Glenn has them.
You're talking about the Christmas decorations.
That's correct.
Now, I want you to describe how many bags or boxes of Christmas decorations these were that you want this lady to be responsible for to the tune of $655.
We believe there were 2 boxes of Christmas decorations.
What does that mean, you believe?
Well, obviously, we never saw, we put them up there, and I believe they were in 2 different boxes. But since I didn't see them after we put them up there, I couldn't tell you today.
Who put them up there?
My wife and I did.
Well, you don't remember how many boxes. Maybe your wife remembers. Well, so your wife doesn't know, so you don't know how many boxes, either 1 or 2 boxes.
That's correct.
How many boxes of Christmas decorations did you find?
Okay, I have 2 answers. When we went through looking for all of their belongings, that they gave us an itemized list to return to them on a specified date that their daughter signed off on having received.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like
and
to
on
see
that
it.
list, they said that there is 1 box of Christmas decorations.
Yeah, I see it.
I'd also like to give you this. This is clarity on the actual box of Christmas decorations. This is an email from Jeff to my husband. Holiday decorations, they are in a box in the attic and marked with our name.
Just a second. Well, your daughter signed off on receiving holiday decorations valued at $175 that were outside. She signed off at receiving those. Mr. Wigman, I have to tell you that I am so unimpressed with this list. A hammer, a can opener, handheld, coffee mugs, white with blue inside, and one is white and says there is a good chance that you value at $10 that are in the foyer. I just have to tell you, I'm totally unimpressed with this list. You know, I mean, if you lived in a place for 3 years, and you do have some bigger items here, 2 bar stools, fine. But you not only listed them, you listed them with a price after them. Why would you list a price after them?
I don't recall why I did that offhand. I think I was trying to identify the value of the things to make sure.
For what reason? For what reason?
Because we were having difficulty getting the items back. The plaintiffs wanted to wait until the summer tenant was out to return our things, even though we had demanded them in July.
Well, that's difficult for her to go in there and start picking out the things. I mean, she was doing you a favor. You brought your own stuff there. She's doing you a favor. She has a summer tenant in her house. And for her to start going through the house, her lease doesn't permit her to go in. It's a standard lease, doesn't permit her to go in and pick up your 4 coasters that are in the foyer. That's not a legitimate reason for her to get in. So you were being unreasonable, Mr. Weigman. I just find that this whole thing is unreasonable. So you have a box or a bag of Christmas decorations that you do not list here other than holiday decorations, $175. You don't list the value of the holiday decorations, and then it says in a box in the attic here. And the only decorations that which looks actually ridiculous to me, but you're suing her for $655.
I have a list of all the items that were missing, Your Honor, and the receipts right here.
What difference does it make? Do you have his items anymore? Do you have the Christmas decorations?
No, I'd like to tell you what happened.
I would love you to tell me what happened, because
Okay.
I think that this is a lot of nonsense.
Okay, we do too.
Would you tell me what happened to the box of Christmas decorations? She signed off.
Yes.
She signed off. Just a second.
Yeah.
Between the time they came, they celebrated Christmas there every year. It's the only holiday decorations they have on the list. And his daughter, who was here, signed off that she received them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you clearly found another something with additional holiday decorations after his daughter came, signed off at receiving all the other property here.
Yep.
That was on what date?
That was July 26th that his daughter Laura met my husband and their pet sitter, our mutual neighbor friend Glenn, both seated here.
So his daughter came July 25th when you had
we had our
summer tenant there. So
from
you
Saudi
did
Arabia.
discommode the summer tenant in order to get this
I
junk.
explained the situation to them, and they allowed me to come in, and they actually looked at the list and helped me gather all the stuff.
That was very nice.
And the water spritzer bottle. So we had everything on their list.
How many tennis balls were there in the bag, by the way?
I don't know.
And we're talking about one water spritzer bottle.
Yes.
You know, plastic one with the like this?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You understand that you're seeing from my face you have this much sympathy from me. Go ahead.
Okay. So on July 26th, Laura came and signed off on having received all of those belongings. Then on Tuesday, September 23rd, this is after my summer tenants departed.
September 23rd?
Yes.
Was the next time you had any communication?
No, that was the next time I was at the house. So I drove up from San Diego, where I live, and I went to my rental property in Corona del Mar. And my summer tenants had departed. They flew back to Saudi Arabia. And so it was my first time, you know, going through the house after my summer tenants had departed and after having gotten all of their belongings out.
But you had no contact with them from July 25th to September 23rd, or did you?
There was one email correspondence, and that was from his daughter, Laura. Apparently, she had not seen a box of wine glasses. And that was the day that she was picking up everything.
Correct? Because there's something here that says wine glasses. You weren't sure that you had the box of... Just a second.
Yeah.
You weren't sure that you had the box of wine glasses.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, and this is her email
saying that she found the wine
them.
glasses.
Yes. Okay. So aside from that, there was no communication with them.
From July 25th to September 23rd, 2 months.
Yes. And
So
I
2
didn't
months
think
you heard
there would...
nothing from them.
Well, I didn't think... I thought it was closed chapter.
No. Just answer my question.
Yes.
So for 2 months,
For
you
2
heard
months,
nothing from them.
We heard nothing from them.
Mr. Weigman, do you have any documentation to the contrary that other than the email from your daughter indicating she did in fact find the 4 wine glasses, that you had any communication with Miss Phil from July 25th to September 23rd?
There was no correspondence.
No correspondence. So you weren't missing your decorations?
We were in Cape Cod at the time.
I don't care where you were.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If she happened to find another bag of your junk and she tried to do the nice thing instead of throwing it in the trash, which is what I would have done, that was nice of him. He didn't steal your garland. She was nice. She didn't throw it in the trash, which is exactly what I would have done.
And later today,
I think that you're a very bad businesswoman.
Ma'am,
I think that you
3
are.
days later.
I think that
He
you
canceled 3 days later. My policy is no refunds.
Miss Nola. Miss
It's in my
Nola.
policy.
I'm talking, you're not.
Real Cases. Wakeman says Kathleen Peel owes for belongings left behind in a vacation home.
Now, you have a daughter. Your daughter evidently lives here, so you were here because that was your agent. She picked up your property. Okay, so by now, any property that they did not, I'm just telling you, any property that they did not target after she picked up the property, in my judgment, has been abandoned.
Okay.
Got it? So now you can tell me the story because we're going to fill 3 more minutes.
Okay, so I went up there on Tuesday, September 23rd, and at this point, we had decided because of all of this that had transpired, we wanted to try to sell this vacation home of ours and no longer try to rent it out. It was becoming too much of a hassle. So we were going to put it on the market October 1st. So the 23rd of September, I drove up from San Diego.
I heard that already. You looked through the house and you found the Christmas decorations.
I
Good.
found 2 bags, no boxes, and they were in the attic. And one of them had Wiegman written on it, and one of them had nothing written on it. The one that had Wiegman written on it had tinsel and garland kind of coming out of the top. I never opened either bag. I also considered it to be to their pet sitter who was going to be babysitting their dog again.
Whose dog?
Their dog, Max.
Oh, stand up.
So
Stand up,
Glenn...
sir. Just a second. Move over there.
Okay.
Did she give you this bag of
Yes.
abandoned property?
Yes, she did.
Okay, what did you do with it?
I took it down to my house. I live 4 houses down, and I was going to keep it for the Wegmans when they returned to give it to them.
Did they return?
They returned,
And?
but in the process of the stagers that showed up at her house to get the house ready for sale, one bag went missing, one did wind up in my garage, and that's the one that was of their property.
So what happened to it?
It was missing.
You don't know where it is?
No, I do not know where it went to.
They don't know where it is. They can't return it to you.
May I clarify something, Your Honor?
Anything you like.
When my daughter went to pick up the items, they were in Glenn's garage. They had been taken down from the attic and from the house and brought down there. So there were lots of boxes and everything else.
I don't care. That's your problem. You fly out from the Cape and go to your daughter's house and go through all the junk that she collected, that she signed off for. Be there on July 25th, go through and say, I'm missing a bag of tinsel. We have to go back and get my tinsel. That's your problem. That's not their problem. They're selling their house. They don't have to worry about the junk you left behind. You abandoned holiday decorations. If she happened to find another bag of your junk and she tried to do the nice thing instead of throwing it in the trash, which is what I would have done. That was nice of them. He didn't steal your garland. It went missing. She was nice. She didn't throw it in the trash, which is exactly what I would have done. So, your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We were missing items that we should have been given back to us.
I am so relieved that she saw the story the way that it actually happened.
It had meaning to us.
We've been dealing with this nightmare for going on 1.5 years now.
Time to move on.
I'm glad we can finally put it to rest, move on.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Nola versus Doherty. Step forward, please.
Motorcycle store owner Kim Noller is suing customer Thomas Doherty for disputed credit card charges.
Mr. Doherty, I'm going to start with you, sir. You wanted to rent a motorcycle for your son who was coming to visit.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had rented motorcycles for him to ride previously from the plaintiff.
Yes, ma'am, 3 times.
And how much do you pay for each use?
I think it was about $130.
A day?
A day, yes, ma'am.
And this last time that you reserved the motorcycle for your son's visit, how many days did you reserve it for $50?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you personally call her?
I called, yes, ma'am.
And gave her the dates that you wanted to reserve the motorcycle?
Yes, ma'am.
What were the dates that you wanted to
That
reserve?
was Thanksgiving. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The 3 days starting with Thanksgiving of 2015.
So, was that the 25th?
I think that's the 26th, 27th, and 28th.
26th?
27th and 28th, I believe.
And on what date did you call her?
I called him September 16th, 2015.
And then you found out that your son, for some reason, wasn't coming.
Right.
When did you call the plaintiff back and tell her that the plan had changed and you wanted to cancel?
That was September 17th, 2015.
And that's all documented. So far, is that all correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many motorcycles do you have?
I own 14 motorcycles.
And I assume that you have documents to show me that all of your 14 motorcycles were rented for the 26th, 27th, and 28th of November.
No, they weren't all rented at that time. That was pretty far ahead of time that he called.
So you ran his credit card for $390. He called you within 24 hours to tell you that his plan has changed. And you told him, according to your papers, that you had a no-refund policy, that you would send him vouchers, my money back. And to make a long story short, they ultimately sided with him and took the money back from you. That's why you're here.
Ultimately, it went back into my account when he dropped the dispute at the end.
So what are you doing here?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Let me tell you something. If I was in
Why
business...
did he drop the dispute?
If you're going to talk over me, I'm going to throw you out of
Why
here
did
and
he
not
drop
even
the dispute
explain.
would be my
Hey,
question.
just a second. If you're going to try to talk over me...
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to throw you out.
Yes, ma'am.
It would be my pleasure anyway.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Motorcycle store owner Kim Noller is suing customer Thomas Doherty for disputed credit card charges.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm suing for the NSF charges that I incurred for the money going in and out, the taxes that I had to pay, and the inconvenience of it all.
I'm not giving you a quarter. I think that you're a very bad businesswoman.
Ma'am,
I think that you
3 days later.
I think that
he
you
canceled 3 days later. My policy is no refunds.
Miss Noller. Miss
It's in my
Noller.
policy.
I'm talking, you're not.
I understand.
I'm talking, you're not. Let me tell you this. I just went over with him the dates. And
They're not
I said,
correct.
is all, don't speak. I said, is all of that correct?
No.
And you said, you want me to play back the tape? You said...
The dates are not correct. He called 3 days after he booked.
Great.
I have no consolation.
Just a second.
No
I'm
cancellation
speaking.
policy.
Hey, I'm speaking. Listen
No
to me.
cancellation policy.
I don't give a
So
rat's
why do people put these in
Listen to me. I don't give a rat's behind about what you're going to show me. I'm not giving you another penny. Not another penny. If the money went back into your account...
Because he was wrong. That's why he dropped the dispute.
No, let me tell you something. If I was in
Why
business...
did he drop the dispute?
If you're going to talk over me, I'm going to throw you out of
Why
here
did
and
he
not
drop
even
the dispute
explain.
would be my
Hey,
question.
just a second. If you're going to try to talk over me...
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to throw you out.
Yes, ma'am.
It would be my pleasure anyway.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
First of all, in answer to my question, you did say the dates were correct. Then you changed... Don't speak. Then you changed it later when you saw the direction I was going in. That's number one. Number two, I asked you whether all 14 motorcycles were rented for that period of time, 26th, 27th, 28th. Your response to me, because it's on tape, was, no, they weren't. And he called pretty far in advance. So the second thing is that you suffered no damage as a result of his canceling. Because, one, I'm not finished yet.
I understand.
I'm not finished yet.
I understand.
So if I were in business with a customer who had reserved and used my business before 3 times.
That understood the policy.
Hey, just
that understood the policy.
Goodbye. Your case is dismissed.
That's
We're
great.
done.
That's fine.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have no grievance with the defendant. He was a good customer.
I'm not upset about it.
My policy is in effect because if you rent a motorcycle and you book it, I can't re-rent that motorcycle.
She ran the card the day I called her instead of waiting until I had picked up the motorcycle.
Great business, and I meet a lot of great people, including Thomas.
I've gotten good service from her, and I would go back.
It just sounds as if you were a real pain in the behind.
Her down-on-his-luck ex moved in.
It was just more of a sense of pride. I couldn't go back to my mother's house at the time.
But you could mooch off of me.
The bigger problem was getting him out.
I didn't pay her full rent. There was never agreement to pay any rent.
Your Honor, I had asked Jason to leave several times.
She didn't like you anymore. You don't call the police on somebody twice if you still like them.
It's just one of her manipulative tactics.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. Lakin Hawks is suing her former live-in boyfriend, Jason Rios, for unpaid rent, utilities, and an assault.
Order. All rise. It's case number 568 on the calendar in the matter of Hawks versus Rios.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat. You're welcome, Judge.
All right, Miss Hawks, this was your former boyfriend, and there came a period of time when he, according to you, moved into an apartment that you had rented. He moved into your apartment on what date?
He moved in on 7 August 2015.
And where had he been living?
He had been residing in an apartment in San Antonio, Texas.
And what was the reason that he moved into your apartment and left his apartment?
He left his apartment because he had been evicted. He had fallen behind on bills, had had a hard time keeping a job, and so he was evicted. He had a note from the constable, and he ended up working something out with his management office to keep the eviction off of his record. And at that time, he had contacted me. We were still talking at the time, and he had asked me, can I temporarily stay with you?
What, you mean you were still talking? He was your boyfriend?
He was.
He was your boyfriend. It wasn't that you were still talking. So he was evicted from his old apartment. If I'd made a phone call, would I find out that that was true, that you were evicted?
Honor.
What would I find out about your last residence?
That I broke my lease willingly. I left my apartment to go stay with.
Had you paid your rent for the 3 months immediately preceding breaking your lease? That's either a yes or a no. It's an easy phone call. Good. And who do you speak to at the rental office?
There's not a name on here.
I'd like to see that, please. And so what you're telling me, Ms. Hawks, is that he didn't pay his rent and he was evicted. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, ma'am. He had a note from the constable on his door.
Well, that's what you're telling me.
Yes, ma'am. And then he had worked something out with his...
Great. I'm going to find out whether or not he was evicted for non-payment of rent or whether he broke his lease. How much was your rent there, sir?
It was about
Not about.
$900.
What?
$900.
Well, this says on October 29th, you owe $2,242.88.
That was just for breaking the lease. That was money due after I had stopped staying at the apartment to move in with Ms. Hawks.
But you were fully paid before.
Correct.
I see that he is absolutely correct, that the charges, the only charges that he had were for one missing apartment key, which was $5, replace cracked microwave frame, $74, a cleaning for $10, and then a lease 60-day notice. He didn't do that, so they charged him $1,168, and a lease termination fee because he broke his lease, which was another $1,110. So he was not behind in his rent at all when he moved in with you. So that's not a good story, Ms. Hawks. So he moved in with you because, Mr. Rios, I'm going to give you an opportunity now because what she gave me was misinformation.
Correct. So, Your Honor, I had recently had a surgery. I broke my ankle in August 2014. I wasn't able to work for 6 months, doctor's orders. After I went back to going to work, I was able to go back to work for a month. This was in April. I was then scheduled to have surgery again after I had moved into my apartment. I did find an apartment. I was living by myself, but I had to have kidney surgery. I had kidney surgery in May of 2015.
Related to the accident?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
At the time, Lakin was staying over in Chicago, where she's from. She had been talking about moving to San Antonio. She was going to get a transfer from her unit, and she wanted me to stay with her. I advised Lakin that it was not a good thing to do, that things weren't working out between us. Against my wishes, she got her transferred through her unit to San Antonio. She bought an apartment. Well, she had got an apartment because my apartment wasn't big enough for us. So after she had got her apartment, she convinced me.
Big boy, you moved in with her. You broke your lease and you moved in with her.
When I moved in with her, it was sometime in October of 2015 because I broke my lease in September. I had been staying with her, kind of going back and forth.
The truth of the matter is, I'm not interested in that.
Well, then I did move in with her.
I'm not actually, when two people play house together, I'm not interested in rent, groceries, electricity. I have no use for that.
Your Honor, I did not ask him to come and move in with me.
I don't care. You let him move in with you.
That's why I got my own place.
Just a second. You let him move in with you.
The reason that I did move in with her...
I don't care. You moved in with her in October, and she says that you owe her rent. For what months?
From August 2015 through January 2016.
Not happening.
He was at...
I don't care if he was there. I want to see the date that you tried to evict him.
Your Honor.
Show me the date that you tried to evict him and told him to leave.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the only date I'm interested in.
Your Honor, I had asked Jason to leave several times. He would not leave.
What was the date that you tried to evict him?
The first date was in October 2015.
Let me see.
The reason I was trying to evict him...
Oh, no. I don't read letters from anybody. I want to see an action that you start to remove him, a something. That's
Your
a
Honor,
letter.
I had called police several times because
All I want to see is the first date that you can show me.
I had been...
This is November 25th, 2015.
The problem with evicting
Don't
him...
tell me a problem. I'm reading. Okay. This is November 25th, and this is November 19th. Okay. So let me understand. This date of occurrence is November the 19th, and that was the first time that you contacted the police, and this is what you told them. You wanted him to leave because you were arguing, and you told the police that you let him stay with you because he was kicked out of his place. You told the police that he could only stay there for a little while, but that he had been living there since August. You say that you no longer want him living there. The officer said that he already spoke to her about the eviction process, and she had contacted the constable's office. You told the police that they were arguing about his not leaving. Now, the police had already told you that you had to start an eviction process. And she said that Mr. Rios had a key to the apartment, and you went and took his key ring to take his apartment.
Your Honor, I never gave him a key. He took it off of my key ring.
It says that Mr. Rios had her extra apartment key, and she went to take it off his key ring. Said that Mr. Rios pushed her down and grabbed her hand to take the key back. And when he did that, he pulled on her fingernail and caused it to bleed. She also said she had a scratch to her left forearm caused when he pushed her on the couch when he was grabbing to take his key away. He got off her, that she says, once he got his key back and left the apartment.
Your Honor, I have pictures of that as well.
Of what?
Of the damage from that. I had ripped the acrylic off of my hand, and I have a large bruise on my forearm.
Did you take his key?
It was my key, Your Honor.
No, it was his key. He had been living there, according to you, since August. Not according to him. According to him, he had been living there since October. What you did was you tried to get his key so that he couldn't get into the apartment, and he went to take it back.
That's what was advised to me per the police.
First of all, that's hearsay, and I do not believe that any police officer said to you, because the police officer's reports are very clear, of the 25th of October, they said, you have to go through an eviction process. He's been there a long time. So no policeman would have told you to take back the key.
They said
because
I could
that's a
lock him
construct.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I didn't like you anymore. You don't call the police on somebody twice and say, I want him out, if you still like them. And you were sleeping on the sofa, and you weren't contributing to the house, and you're annoying. You were like an annoying little gnat.
And later today,
we started arguing about money, and that's when he got mad and he punched me in my face. And after that, everybody was trying to hold me back because he had ran in the house. That's when the damage got, done to the garage.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lakin Hawk says ex-boyfriend Jason Rios owes for rent, utilities, and an assault. Jason is countersuing for the return of his belongings.
Okay, she asked you to leave in November. Did you pay rent in December?
I didn't pay her full rent. There was never agreement to pay any rent.
Okay. She doesn't tell, actually, that there was an agreement to pay rent, because if she told the police there was an agreement to pay rent, they would have said he was a tenant instead of an invited guest. You know, you sort of can't have it both ways. You can't say he's an invited guest to the police and then come here and sue him for rent and say he was a tenant, and yet you went to take his key away. You can't take his key away if he was a paying tenant. All you can do is evict him.
Your Honor, he was not a paying tenant. We had a verbal agreement that he was going to pay for.
That doesn't matter.
Not $1 in 6 months.
Listen to me. That's why the police told you you have to evict him.
I tried to evict him. The problem with that was, since his name was not on the lease, I could not evict him. The leasing management office had to evict him.
So?
Since his name was not on the lease, they had to contact an attorney, and that's where the holdup was.
When did you leave?
I was able to leave mid-January.
January what?
15th.
Where did you go to?
I went to go stay with my mother temporarily until
Why
my
didn't you
apartment.
go to your mother before if this wasn't working out? It just sounds, Mr. Rios, like you were a real pain in the behind. It just sounds as if you were a real pain in the behind. She didn't birth you. She didn't care about you anymore. You were sleeping on the sofa. You were being annoying. So my question to you is, what were you still doing there?
I just wasn't financially and physically able to
Why
move out at the
didn't you
time.
go to your mother before?
Because at the time, things were okay with Lakin and myself.
They were not.
Not according to the police department.
Lakin did call the cops twice, as she did mention, and it's just one of her manipulative tactics that she did to kind of just make things harder for myself.
All I want to know is, I'm not getting any sort of censor. I know what she's about.
I wasn't
I'm
ready to
not
go move into my mother's. It was just more of a sense of pride. I couldn't go back to my mother's house at the time.
But you could mooch off of me.
Okay, that's an answer. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Yes, but your girlfriend doesn't have to take care of you.
And she wasn't taking care of me in full, as she states.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if she was taking care of you that much. She didn't like you anymore. You don't call the police on somebody twice and say, I want them out, if you still like them.
I understand, yes.
Right, and you were sleeping on the sofa, and you weren't contributing to the house, and you're annoying. You were like an annoying little gnat.
Not $1.
Just a second. An annoying little gnat. That doesn't mean she's entitled to any money, because you're not allowed to take his property. That was his key ring. And if you tried to retrieve his property and your acrylic broke in the process, that's too bad. Listen,
never put my
are you
hands on
living
her.
with your mother
Yes.
now? Are you still living in the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Are you living alone?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Good for you. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Oh, the countersuit?
The countersuit, ma'am, I had property that was actually kept that she still has in her
Just a
possession.
second. Do you... Listen to me. Look at my eyes. Do you have his deceased father's duffel bag or uniform?
Yes, Your Honor. I've got an email telling him to come pick it up.
Great. Within 5 days, in the company of a marshal, you can go get the duffel bag and the uniform. You have 5 days. After that, she's throwing it in the garbage. Do you understand?
I understand.
Perfect.
Excuse me, step out.
I feel like I was definitely taken advantage of.
Things were not going well, and Lakin just was very aggressive.
Police got involved because he put his hands on me.
There was never an assault. If I was assaulted, be careful who you date.
Don't date losers.
I'm glad it didn't go any further.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Eccles versus Eccles, step forward.
Delonte Eccles is suing his nephew, James Eccles, for punching holes into his garage door.
Mr. Eccles, this is your nephew, and it is your claim that at a birthday party for you,
Yes.
that your nephew came to the house. There were lots of other guests, that he was drunk and disorderly
Yes.
when he arrived.
Yes, when he arrived.
And at some point during the evening, he caused damage to your garage doors.
Correct.
You want him to pay for the repairs. And Mr. Eccles says that the family ganged up on him, and if there was damage to the garage doors, it was as they were pushing him around, and they were the ones who caused the damage. Is that your defense, sir?
Yes.
Is that a true defense?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He got in my face. You know, he started cursing me.
Did
you know,
you,
yeah.
Mr. Eccles, did you hit him?
No, we got to tussling because he.
I didn't ask you that. I said, did you hit him?
Yes, we hit each other. Yes.
Did you hit him first?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Delonte Eccles says his nephew's door. James says he was angry after Delonte punched him in the face.
Tell me what happened.
On this November 21st, I was invited to my uncle Delonte's birthday party.
When you showed up to the birthday party, what time was that, Mr. Eccles?
Probably about 9:30, close to 10 o'clock.
At night?
Yeah.
Where had you been before?
I was out with a date. We was at her parents' house.
How come you didn't bring her to the party?
I brought her to the birthday party with me. She was at the birthday party.
She was there?
Yeah.
Had you had anything to drink before you arrived?
Yes, I had a cup of alcohol before I got to the party.
So I want you to tell me what happened, Mr. Eccles.
So I went to the garage. I took a cigarette. And then my uncle and my auntie came out there. And, you know, me and my uncle started having a conversation.
About what?
About me getting my CDLs and my license and everything, and how much he done helped me, and, you know, how much he done did for me in so much of my life. And then I was telling him I really didn't have no help from, you know, nobody. Everything I did was on my own. At that point, you know, we started arguing about money. Everything got out of hand.
So he wanted money from you?
No, he didn't want no money from me, but we started arguing about money, and that's when he got mad and he punched me in my face. And after that, everybody was trying to hold me back because he had ran in the house. Obviously, I was angry about the situation. And in that moment, my family members, they was holding me on the scuffle. that's when the damage got, done to the garage.
Okay, Mr. Reckles?
Yes, James, he's my nephew. He showed up to the party. He was already intoxicated.
Well, what kind of damage was done to the garage?
It was just holes.
In the walls?
No, like on the door.
Okay, you have a picture of it.
Picture.
I'd like to take a look at the picture of the hole in the wall. Mr. Reckles, keep going.
James, he instantly started, trying to pick a fight with me. He started asking me for money. And I was telling him, today's my birthday. Why don't you give me some money? He got mad. He got upset when I said that. Started, yelling, cursing me, disrespecting me and my family, cursing the whole family because, he feels like a sense of entitlement, like we owe him something. So he got in my face. He started cursing me.
Mr. Reckles, did you hit him?
No, we got to tussling because he...
I didn't ask you that. I said, did you hit him?
Oh, yes, we hit each other, yes.
Did you hit him first?
No, not at all. He started cursing. He started chest pumping me. He shoved me, took a swing at me. I kind of blocked it. We tussled. I pinned him up against the car because my wife's car was in the garage. And I was telling him, you better calm down. You need to leave my house because, you're not fit to be disrespecting me in my house. And it was my other cousin part got me to go back inside the house. By then, James, he's still in the garage, yelling, cursing, yelling threats. Then he started, just punching holes in the garage door.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that. My sister seen it.
Who saw it? Could you step up? Your last name is?
Eccles.
Miss Eccles. You were outside in the garage?
Yeah, I was there from the beginning when it all started.
Tell me what happened at the point where your brother walked inside the house.
So we made Cortez leave the garage, and he was outside. I'm sorry, James. I call him Cortez. But he was still outside, being really irate and just loud. So we asked my sister if she can go outside and calm him down and make him leave. And as she was leaving to go out the garage, up underneath it, he ran back under the garage. And, everybody was stopping him no, Tess, because he was trying to get into my brother's house. So we no, you have to go, you have to go. And he just got really irate and punched the garage twice. That was that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, at what point did he leave?
After he punched the garage twice, two of my cousins had out the garage. And it was probably about 5 more minutes. He was still out there, a little irate, making threats, saying he was going to damage some more property. We were saying to call the police, but as he said, he's trying to get his CDL. So the date that he came with drove him home, and my sister followed them to make sure that he did get home.
Do you have an estimate to fix the garage doors?
Yes.
Listen, if you can't hold your alcohol, don't drink. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500 as requested. Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's pretty much their story against mine.
I was happy for the decision.
I wouldn't